Jamie Lawrence, CBS Sports Radio. Boom!
Don't miss Power Torque Tools DIY days now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Power Torque hand tools come with a lifetime guarantee. Right now, you can save big on the best hand tools, power tools, jacks, and more. Let the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts help you find the right Power Torque tools for your next DIY project. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Hewitt!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at...
I'm Taylor Bisciotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Former Cowboys linebacker Leighton Vander Esch is calling it a career after 6 seasons. The 28-year-old dealt with numerous neck injuries and played in just 5 games last year. The Cowboys drafted Vander Esch in the first round of the 2018 draft. The Bills have agreed on a 3-year, $31 million extension with cornerback Taron Johnson, making him the highest-paid nickel cornerback in the league, according to NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport. The Saints signed former 49ers pass rusher Chase Young to a 1-year, $13 million contract, also according to Rappaport. And quarterback Kenny Pickett was traded to the Eagles late last week and dismissed reports on Monday that his negative reaction to the Russell Wilson signing led to his departure from Pittsburgh. Pickett saying in part, "I'm confident in the way I handled it. I handled it the way I should have handled it. I'm excited to be here." This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Hello, I'm David Figueroa, co-founder of Melinda's. We make 32 craft pepper sauces that are thicker, hotter, and better. We use fresh, plant-based ingredients that you can see and taste. One try and you'll fall in love with Melinda's. Melinda's also makes spicy ketchups using real sugar and no high-fructose corn syrup. Yuck. Go to melindas.com to find our line of craft condiments at Walmart and other fine retailers. And right now, get 20% off our award-winning sauces with code SPORTS at melindas.com. That's melindas.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper, and you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
TEC Equipment Rental is hosting their grand opening for their new location in West Columbia on April 12th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at 2025 Old Dunbar Road. Come on out and check out their extensive line of equipment. With manufacturers on site, you can learn about equipment straight from the sources. There'll be giveaways and door prizes. Also a food truck from Hudson Smokehouse. 107.5 The Game will be broadcasting live with ticket giveaways and more. So come on out and see how TEC can serve you. That's April 12th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2025 Old Dunbar Road, West Columbia.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online.
Hewitt!
Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And with My Lowe's Rewards, your savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers and earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our new loyalty program at lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Hey Columbia, are you tired of waiting around for your car to be serviced? Well, at Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia, every Thursday is 30-Minute Thursday. Yes, in just 30 minutes, whether it's an oil change, a battery replacement, or even a tire rotation, their expert techs ensure top-notch service. So why wait? Get your life back in a jiffy. Schedule your appointment today by calling 803-739-2999. That's 739.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Hey, this is South Carolina DQ Smith. You listen to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
The early game.
Bill Gunter.
Still working on that word that I was going for, trying to remember what exact word I was going for.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
People don't like people that are non-people people.
Jen Jensen.
Still working on that word that I was going for, trying to remember what exact word I was going for.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Yeah, shed that big old coat. Come on, buddy. It's spring practice for South Carolina football. You got NCAA basketball tournament brackets you got to fill out. You can't be doing that in a big old hefty coat like it's January 18th.
It doesn't matter what day. I go by the weather, sir, and it was cold this morning. Big jacket out.
Big jacket was on for Preston Thorne. January 19th would have been the day I was going for, not January 18th, because today is March the 19th, and that means the start of spring football practice.
Yay.
You know what? Normally, I would boo you. Normally, I would tell you that you're a Debbie Downer, and that as somebody who went through it, your feelings are biased. I'm kind of right there with you.
Yay, we have spring football
I just want to see the game against Old Dominion on August 31st and see Lenora Sellers against another defense. See the defense, see the offense, see what the receivers look like. I sadly might be right there with you on this.
Well, here's the deal, man. There's a lot to get excited about this year about spring practice. We'll talk about it. There's a lot of different questions that need to be answered, answers we need to find out, people we want to see, new coaches. There's a lot going on. It's just the idea that, well, first and foremost, we have two things that are more important than spring practice to talk about, right? We haven't had that luxury in a while, right? So we have two things that are way more important than spring practice to talk about. And if we're all being honest with ourselves, we could probably sleepwalk ourselves. We could just turn on the radio and we can give you the post-practice announcements after every single one of the 15 practices. Matter of fact, we might try and do that. I might try and predict what the spring practice analysis is before it happens, and then we'll see how close I am to what the coaches say.
How close you are on a daily basis.
Something like, open competition, the defense was well today, got to take care of the ball. I think I'm going to try that this year. I'm going to try and see how close I can get to what this with no knowledge, because I'm definitely not going over there. With no knowledge, can I accurately predict what will happen during
I'll see if practice? I can pull back up what today, let's see, yesterday was team meetings. Today is head coach Shane Beamer press conference at 12:30. Practice open to the media this morning, periods 1 through 6, beginning open to the media. So if you're a fan, don't go, but open to the media. But Shane Beamer will speak today. Today will be Shane Beamer. So later on, we'll see what you think Shane Beamer will say at 12:30.
Okay. Yes.
Tomorrow, we'll have to get it in early, but tomorrow will be Dow Loggins and Clayton White.
Oh yeah, I got what they're gonna say. 100%. Okay.
So we will get to that. Spring practice gets going. JC Sherbert will join us in studio. JC in town, so he'll actually come in studio coming up here in just a little while, and we'll talk a lot of spring practice with him. Get some thoughts from him as to what. Normally I'd be like, man, I want to at least hear about this. I want to see about this. I'm not trying to poo-poo anything or put it down. Show me on the field in the actual game. That's what
spring practice is. They are good. They will be on the field.
This to me is for the coaches and not for, one of the few times I feel like I've ever said this. This spring is for the coaches.
Ooh.
For the coaches.
We need to see what the coaches are.
No, I want. This is for the coaches to have it ready. This is kind of. I'd be happy if nobody talked. I'd be happy if we didn't even know they were doing spring practice and they were just behind the scenes, working hard, getting ready for the season, and they tell me nothing. As a matter of fact, I want them to be negative. I just want a negative spring practice. We look awful. You guys shouldn't hype any of these players.
Oh no, I can't do that.
What was the day that Spurrier was like, we're like our kickers are like the military or the army, left, right. Yeah, I want it all to be negative this spring. That way I don't spend the summer fired up, wasting my summer away, wasting those great boat days away.
You say that now, and then somebody's gonna break off an 80-yard run in the first scrimmage, and they're gonna be like, "Ooh, Robbie Ashford." I don't know what you think. Juwan Howe.
Yeah.
What you think?
I will admit, this is what I'm saying. From just reading some of the reports, I'm like, really interested to see. See, and I don't want to get that way.
Go ahead, man.
That is what I want to avoid.
Just submit, man. It's going to happen.
That's exactly what I want to avoid.
It might not be the first scrimmage, but the second scrimmage, you might be like, some depth in that wide receiver room.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to be accused at the end of spring practice of overhyping and under-delivering. 803-404-6100 if you want to get into the program this morning. Again, a lot to get to. We'll get into some NFL. We didn't get into any of the NFL yesterday. It was a interesting weekend for the NFL, and the Chicago Bears make a move. The Pittsburgh Steelers finishing up one move with Russell Wilson, making another move with Justin Fields. We'll let Preston Thorne get into that a little bit. And, of course, we will talk about the NCAA basketball tournament. So did you take any time yesterday to do a bracket, to look at a bracket, to get an idea of what the bracket may be?
I am looking at brackets. I'm checking out experts. I'm perusing the internet, TikTok specifically. A lot of people are breaking down KenPom rankings.
That's right.
And defensive statistics, and I have an issue. The Blue Jays keep showing up on everybody's "these guys have a chance" list.
Got him in the Final Four.
Everybody's list that I see, I keep seeing that darn blue. Is that their?
Yeah.
Yeah. And not saying I'm looking past the Ducks, but those Blue Jays show up on everybody's list, and I don't like it.
Now, I will say, history to me on this indicates that when something like that happens, when everybody starts to be like, look at that team, that's that. And I don't know if I want to say sleeper. They're not a sleeper. They're definitely not a Cinderella. That team usually goes down pretty quick.
So we're prime.
I actually think that might be a good thing, because it just feels like it in my past experience, when there's been a team and then I get all wrapped up in them in the week and I put them in my bracket and I'm like, you know what? I agree with everybody. That team typically goes down pretty quick. Look, Creighton, it's not the easiest feel. It's not the easiest little. If taking and I actually am wearing a South Carolina hat today, taking my South Carolina hat off for a second, whoever their second round matchup isn't necessarily going to be easy. If it's Oregon, let's just say for a second, Oregon pulls the massive upset that nobody thinks they'll do. That pulls the massive upset. Let's just say that Dana Altman coached at Creighton. There's a little fire and motivation there.
Okay.
And Oregon, coming off of 3 straight wins, not a bad team to begin with. That's not exactly one that Creighton can just roll over.
Well,
I might have actually just talked myself out of removing Creighton from the Final Four. It might have just happened.
Well, that's the second part of my analysis yesterday. It was the Blue Jays kept showing up, and essentially everybody's like, yeah, South Carolina's overrated. This is not going to be as big an upset as the brackets indicate.
6-11?
Yeah, there was like, that's not going to be a big upset. And so that was kind of the main themes I saw yesterday.
It's a 1.5 point, at least as of last night, it's a 1.5 point spread. I just don't think nationally South Carolina's going to get the credit, because it's not attractive basket. It's attractive to us. It's the ugly dog. It's only attractive to the owner, who then has to really show it off. But it's attractive to us. It's our brand of basketball. We love it. We embrace it. We're excited for it. Everybody else nationally is like, man, you've seen the analytics on KenPom. Do you see the analytics on the way this team plays?
Yeah, they're going to see the highlight package, and you're going to see BJ Knight backing somebody down, doing the up and under.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, I
Every
guess.
once in all of a sudden, a Colin Murray Boyles dunk comes in there. That's about it.
It's going to be a Colin Murray versus Skyhook.
Yeah.
The little across the lane.
No, they're not. This isn't going to be a beloved. South Carolina got all the love. Lamont Paris and South Carolina got all the love earlier. Most of it came from the SEC network. Now, when you have to get into the big field, everybody's like, yeah, Look at those analytics. Pace of play, extremely slow.
Yes, all of those things that people were breaking down. Pace of play, defensive possessions per game, all of those types of things. It didn't look good for the home team in the first round, and people were definitely touting the Blue Jays in the second round, which is great because need I remind everybody, we were not even in these conversations.
No.
Not even close to having these conversations. We didn't even get to turn down the NIT last year, so this is good.
We'll get into that turning down of NIT because, wow, that thing essentially did not work out. It actually does start tonight, if you're wondering. I mean, we get going tonight with do you count this? I always go back and forth on this. Like, you have 2 games tonight. The first 4 occurs tonight. We legitimately do get
I thought
going.
that was Wednesday.
No, it's tonight. That's
Okay.
what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, we get everything up and running tonight. Wagner and Howard officially kick off the NCAA tournament in Dayton at UD Arena. That'll be at 6:40 tonight. True TV. Good luck trying to find that on whatever your television.
Just look for Impractical Jokers. On your guide, if you see Impractical Jokers.
Hey, homework today. Go home at 5 o'clock and look for Impractical
If you
Jokers.
find Impractical Jokers, you'll find True TV.
That's 6:40. And then tonight at 9:10, Colorado State and Virginia. Do you feel that this is the official kickoff, or are you kind of like me, the old school, Thursday at noon?
Yeah, Thursday starts the tournament. Tonight
Okay.
doesn't start the tournament. More importantly, though, in your agent contracts, does this count for your bonus?
Yes.
Does this count as being if you've made it to the first 4? Do you think that counts?
And you get a win? Yeah.
No.
Do you get the bonus? You said the bonus?
Yeah. Do you get the bonus?
Yeah.
Like tonight.
You made the NCAA tournament.
That'd be a tough argument. I'd have to.
By definition, you made the NCAA tournament. Yes. Now the question is, do you secure?
Because you might say like
the 5 or the 10,000 or whatever it is, whatever
for
it may
a
be.
win
Anyway,
in the NCAA?
for the win.
Ooh.
Because let me ask you this, and then we'll take it to the break, and you can answer on the other side. 803-404-6100. If you won tonight, if it was a South Carolina team in the first 4, and you win, do you put up a banner for it? Do you put that you won an NCAA tournament game if you win a first 4 game? Now, I know the answer is I'm asking you, but I know the simple answer is yes, because you can brag about it, and nobody's going to point up to the rafters and be like, "Oh no, that was a first 4 game." I got it, but should it still count? Think about that, and we'll get your answer when we come back. We'll get into some spring practice stuff. Preston, you ready to go to the offense first?
Let's do offense first.
Offense
There's
first.
a lot of questions.
Well, we'll get Preston's opinion. Does a first 4 victory count? And we'll get into some spring practice offense here. Shane Beamer said to talk about 12:30 today as South Carolina gets spring practice going. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen out. It's producer Ed Bird behind the glass. It is the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Spring practice is not just for the football team. It can be for you as well. And what I'm talking about is grilling out or smoking food. That's right. You got to get ready for football season, and you got to get ready for this coming weekend where maybe you're having a big watch party. And all of that starts with having the right line of food. That's like the offense. You got to have the right offense. And at Old Timey Meat Market, they know that. It starts with great cuts of beef, pork, of chicken, of even fish. You can go with tuna or salmon, whatever it is that you love. Maybe it's oysters. Old Timey Meat Market has it at their 3 locations. You can go visit St. Andrews Road, Nermo, South Congaree, or you can visit the Lexington store that I'm always at. They are a quality selection that is a cut above the rest. Trust me, and if you're looking for a new grill, now's a great time. Traeger has a great line of grills, and you can go visit Old Timey Meat Market to find some of those. Trust me when I say Old Timey Meat Mart is your destination for a great dinner. Go visit them. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Pete Alewine Pool and Spa is getting you ready for pool season with their March Mayhem sale. Saturday, March 16th through Saturday, March 23rd. 20% off all pool and spa chemicals to get your pool swim ready. 20% off salt, 20% off chlorine, 20% off algicides, 20% off shock, and more. March Mayhem at Pete Alewine Pool and Spa, March 16th through March 23rd. They're located at 5541 Sunset Boulevard. You'll find them on Facebook and Instagram or online at PeteAlewinePools.com.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Colonial Life Arena April 6th and 7th. Brought to you by BKT Tires, Great Clips, and Texas Roadhouse. Visit monsterjam.com today.
You already know that Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union offers truly free checking and great rates on auto loans, but did you know they do mortgages too? Whether you need a first or second mortgage, a home equity line of credit, or a loan for construction, renovation, a lot, or a manufactured home, Palmetto Citizens has you covered. They're a community financial institution based solely here in the Midlands, so they offer a refreshingly simple mortgage process you won't get from the big banks or online lenders. Along with a great rate, the Palmetto Citizens Mortgage Team will work with you to tailor the loan to best fit your needs and budget. Apply for your mortgage today by visiting palmettocitizens.org or stopping by any of their 14 branches across the Midlands. Palmetto Citizens, proudly serving this community since 1936. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 449962. Approval based on credit worthiness. Certain restrictions may apply.
If you are considering selling or buying a home, you need to call Steve Hood at Southern Charm Realty. He has the experience and knowledge you can trust. Want to know what your home is worth? Go to LakeMurraySteve.com and get an instant property valuation. Their user-friendly website is easy to navigate and updates new listings every 15 minutes so you can get the listings first. Bottom line, Steve's going to save you money on the cost of selling your home. Give Steve a call today at 803-722-0136 or go to LakeMurraySteve.com. 803-722-0136.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. Right now, AAA Heating and Air is looking for people in all positions, maintenance tech, service tech, and sales people. And they're only interested in the best of the best. And they provide the absolute highest pay in the industry. Insurance, 401k with company match, and a new take-home truck, phones, and tablet. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
All right, we got some traffic going on out there. Right now, I-20 eastbound at Monticello Road, there is a disabled truck. Let's get that off of the road so that we can get safely. And there's an accident at I-20 eastbound at exit 111. Again, disabled truck, I-20 eastbound at Monticello Road. An accident, I-20 eastbound at exit 111. So if you're traveling eastbound on I-20, try and be careful out there. Today, weather clear, sunshine. It's cold right now. Preston wore the big thick coat in this morning, but it's going to get up to about 62 today. Low will be 39 tonight, and it's a continued high pollen count. Everybody didn't buy just yellow cars. It's pollen. Be careful out there. It's the early game.
The early game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen. Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to do so this afternoon. I tell you what, we have a dance contest. How about that? A dance contest. It's the Twin Peaks dance contest. Come into Twin Peaks starting at 11:30 a.m. before the halftime show broadcast live and grab one of the 68 teams in the dance. If your team wins, you get South Carolina baseball season tickets for the rest of the season. There will be also other great prizes as well. That will be on Thursday at Twin Peaks in the Vista. So come on out for our dance contest. And if you want to dance in front of Terry Ford and Tyler Head, go right ahead. That's fine. Or you can just grab a team and do the actual contest. And if your team, if you grab the team that wins, you will win season tickets to South Carolina baseball for the remainder of the season.
That feels like something from a bygone era, like Happy Days or something like that. Like, come on out for the 24-hour dance marathon. Feels interesting.
What did they call those back in the something?
Sock hop.
Sock hop. Yeah.
Come on out to the sock hop.
Okay. Yeah. Now this is just a dance contest,
Okay,
but
all right.
sock hop. That'll be again. Go visit 11:30 on Thursday at Twin Peaks. 803-404-6100. How you can weigh in this morning. Texter weighs in, says you get a banner for the appearance, but not for the single victory in the first four matchup. So you can't promote, at the beginning of this, I'm dead serious about what I'm going to tell you. And I'm just looking, and it looks like they have indeed changed it because at the beginning, tomorrow night was considered the first round. And if you won one of those games, you got credit for the term was a first round victory.
Yeah, they tried to force that one on us. I think we might have.
We pushed back.
Yeah, we pushed back against that. Like I said, we were trying to figure out how this works, and even with the NBA talking about the play-in tournament, and that just was wordy. But first four has a nice ring to it. I do like first four as this as a concept. So I'm with it. I just wonder, as an agent or AD or the accountant for the athletic department, are we going to be like, hey, first four, we're not giving up this extra $25,000.
Who's the first one who gets a contract who says first four, $5,000 bonus, actual NCAA tournament, $10,000.
And see, here's the thing: it doesn't really hurt a school like South Carolina or Clemson, but Howard, Wagner, Montana
Grambling,
State, yeah. $10,000 could really affect the budget here. So we got to really figure out if this is something that we're going for. Are we holding back on it? So it's interesting.
All right. Yep. 803-404-6100. Texter says people put up banners for a tournament. Well, what I've seen in the past, at least another, quite frankly, I've never really looked up at the South Carolina banners, but just what I've seen at other arenas is they'll mention how far they got. So, I've seen banners, they'll say, 96, Sweet 16, 97, Elite 8, 99, first round. Just that's how far. And you're like, oh, okay, I know exactly how far they got. So, you'd have.
Yeah, I mean, that gets into a whole nother conversation. I feel like I could not honestly, within my heart, put a banner up until it was Sweet 16.
Okay.
I couldn't.
Well, no, and don't you just put NCAA tournament appearance and underneath it?
Yeah, you just put NCAA tournament points. Now, if we make the Sweet 16,
you put an actual banner that says with you. All right, we have to.
This is a lot of things that we haven't had to consider in a long time.
Normally we're completely ignoring the first four, but this year we're gonna soak it all in. And again tonight it gets going. Howard and Wagner, 640. True TV, like Preston said, look for Impractical Jokers, and then at 9:10 Virginia and Colorado State will get us going there with the NCAA tournament tomorrow night. By the way, and we'll talk more about tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Montana State and Grambling, and Boise State and Colorado. Jamie Bradford yesterday saying that Boise State Colorado game. Might want to tune into that one. He said it could be one of the better ones.
Yeah, and when he said that, I got to go check Jamie's temperature. That's sort of bordering on sicko mode when you're like,
that's you can look at it. Given that that's the 9:10 game, the 9:10 p.m. game, 9:10 p.m. and how late it is, and that you can kind of just say, you know what, if you're taking Thursday off, or if you're going to be that person who's going to get up and try and get some stuff done early in the morning, and then get to an establishment or wherever on Thursday, like Twin Peaks. By noon to start watching, you could technically say, all right, I'm going to count this as the start.
This is the start.
And I'm just going to stay up, and then I'm just going to grab a nap, essentially, is what you'll be doing, and then I'm going to work, if that's the way you wanted to do it. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. So spring ball gets started today, and it's going to start with a brand-new quarterback, the Spencer Rattler era. Now we move past Pro Day, kind of our goodbye to him, our send-off. and now we officially welcome in Lenora Sellers and see what he can do.
Yeah, this is not like we said, we kind of poo-pooed spring practice, but this is a big time for this unit, for this team, for this program, for Shane Beamer, for everybody involved, because as I was looking at this, trying to go through the obvious ideas of what do we know about this team, and I couldn't really find an answer on the offensive side. In the previous years we were coming in, we knew who Spencer Rattler was. Albeit it didn't work out, we knew who Juice Wells was. Didn't know he was going to play. We had an idea of who DeCarrion Joyner was. There were pieces of people that we knew. When I look at this offense now, it's a lot of mysteries out there running around the field. And I think we can see that. I'm not going to paint that as positive or negative, but I do think there is going to be some actual information that we gain from spring practice this year.
Well, I think to start with that, you have to question what is the defense. Like if the offense, if we're getting words that Lenora Sellers, because the defense for about 8 games last year, that was a big struggle. And then the Final Four, they kind of were able to get it going. You can say maybe the play that turned it was the Stone Blanton interception, and then they were able to play pretty well through the final 3 games. But you're always going to go to, Lenora Sellers looked good. Well, do you remember what the secondary looked like last year? Do you remember what, that to me is going to be, and that's why I'm not trying to downplay it or poo-poo it, but to me this is about the coaches getting guys fundamentally ready. And by that, we've talked about it. We've gotten Patrick DeMarco in here, and John Strickland's been in here, and others have been in here and talked about the play on the offense and the defensive line, and fundamentally being able to go out and push somebody around a little bit. And more often than not, South Carolina playing Georgia. South Carolina's not going to be the more physical, stronger team, but more often than not, being the more physical, stronger team, pushing people around. I don't know if I could even say against against Eastern Illinois in the very first game of the Shane Beamer era, that I thought the offensive line went out and just shoved around a inferior opponent.
They didn't.
And that's one of the things that I don't think I can learn this year, or I'm going to be too negative, and I'll go ahead and say I'll be too negative, that if they do shove around, if the offensive line shoving around the defense, I'm going to be like, the defense isn't strong enough. That's not a good sign.
Yeah, obviously when you talk about spring, somebody has to win, somebody has to lose, and it fluctuates throughout the spring as groups improve and all that types of things. I guess what I'm looking at is even more so just personnel-wise. Can we come out of the spring with a group of dudes who we are confident that that's going to be the starting lineup? Now, they tried to sell us a couple of things last year that didn't necessarily come to fruition. And because we don't have access, everybody can't see these things. But quarterback, we assume that it's going to be, our best interest would be for it to be Lenora Sellers, I believe. Running back, the running back room is wide open due to transfers, due to all the information, due to transfers and people leaving. Wide receiver, new coach, new people, all these things are happening. There's been a lot of people coming in. Who's going to come in and make a play there? The offensive line, we've been told that there's a great group coming in, but they're young. What does that mean? Are they going to come in together as a unit? Is Lonnie Teasley going to actually put this thing together and make them work? Does Sean Elliott have any influence on making the offensive line more solid? What's going on with the tight ends? There are just so many questions that I didn't talk about running backs. There's a new running backs coach. So there's a lot of different things that need to be answered throughout this spring. And while last year I think he was trying to focus on personnel and schemes and things of that nature, this year everybody's trying to figure out what their role is, and that's coaches included.
I'll give you some reasons why I'm hesitant to get overly excited, because there are some things that scare me, and I'll come back to some of the things you just mentioned. 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in if you want to do so this morning. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It is the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Ever been on this date?
You're a good-looking man.
Thank you.
Very pretty. Real soft, delicate features. They're real feminine.
And thought, man, I'd rather be listening to The Game right now.
Welcome in to the afternoon show alongside Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the Game app. Sure, you may no longer be with that person anymore, but you'll never be without the game again.
Bill Gunner for the Mortgage Guru. Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. It's that time of year where people start looking around, thinking about what they might want to do as the year moves on with their home. Maybe you want to sell. Maybe you want to upgrade and get more space. Maybe kids are moving out. You want to downsize a little bit. You're tired of cleaning all of that house. Or maybe you just want to refinance. All those are great options, but first you need to see what kind of interest rate you can get. And with the interest rate stabilizing, the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank, is ready to help you. And guess what? First Palmetto Bank is locally owned and operated right here in the Midlands, which means Jacob has local decision makers, meaning quick and precise underwriting. So this could be a very easy, very quick process for you. Just call the Mortgage Guru today and start the process. 803-719-1005. Again, it's 803-719-1005. He's the Mortgage Guru, Jacob Crowder. Call him today and tell him Bill Gunner sent you.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contest out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up until the national championship. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
March into serenity and relaxation with the Spring Madness Member for a Day sale at Hand & Stone. Receive product savings, member price services, and gift card savings. Visit their Columbia area locations or handandstone.com to unlock online deals. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Pete Alewine Pool & Spa is getting you ready for pool season with their March Mayhem sale. Saturday, March 16th through Saturday, March 23rd. 20% off all pool and spa chemicals to get your pool swim ready. 20% off salt, 20% off chlorine, 20% off algicides, 20% off shock, and more. March Mayhem at Pete Alewine Pool & Spa, March 16th through March 23rd. They're located at 5541 Sunset Boulevard. You'll find them on Facebook and Instagram or online at PeteAlewinePools.com.
Hey there, Columbia. All of us at Village Idiot Pizza would like to congratulate Dawn Staley, Lamont Paris, and both their teams on a phenomenal regular season, and thank you for the memories. Speaking of making memories, come make some with us at either Village Idiot location, 5 Points or Olympia at the Mills. Together, all postseason long, let's cheer on our Gamecocks. You may call it one thing, but we call it the third month of the calendar craziness.
Hello, this is Keith Gramad with Chapin Furniture. I've already secured tickets to the second round of a very important tournament that takes place this month. And if you're wondering, no, it's not the St. Patty's Day clover eating contest.
Keith, I don't think you can eat clover, and I think we know which tournament you're referring to.
I'm hoping to get lucky and see the Gamecocks play. And yes, you can eat clover. Look it up.
Okay, Mr. Clover. Why don't you just share about the madness taking place at Chapin Furniture right now?
Chapin Furniture's Motion Madness sale is in full swing in the month of March. Furniture that reclines, swivels, rocks, or glides, all on sale now. Save up to 20% on brand new orders.
Chapin Furniture's Motion Madness sale going on through March 30th. Shop online at chapinfurniture.com or take I-26 to exit 91A in Chapin and look for the big red chair.
Don't let allergies keep you down. Call the pros at Zerez Air Duct Cleaning to remove the dust from your home. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game to get $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Use code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZerezColumbia.com.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
All right, we got some bad news here. Let's go with this. I-20 westbound at Augusta Road, lanes are blocked in both directions on I-20. So eastbound and westbound, the lanes are blocked in both directions. We have started the morning poorly would be the way to describe it, as we have somehow managed to block both lanes on I-20, both eastbound and westbound at Augusta Road. So if you're heading that way, might want to look for an alternate route. I-20 eastbound at Monticello Road, there's a disabled truck. So I-20's having all kinds of issues this morning. Be careful out there. Again, today, clear, sunshine, high is 62, low tonight of 39. And again, the pollen count, high. That's what it tells me. Pollen count, high. It's the early game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
.35 as we roll along on a Tuesday morning. Depending on how you want to look at it, the start of the NCAA basketball tournament with games tonight between Howard and Wagner, and then Virginia and Colorado State. Or if you just want to, look at it as, yes, it's truly the first four. Well, however you want to view it tonight. But NCAA basketball tournament play starts also, by the way, just tonight. The NIT gets going. The teams that elected to be in the NIT get going tonight. Preston Thorne, little North Texas LSU, if you want to do that. Some Boston College Providence, that famed Northeast rivalry, Boston College and Providence facing off. Xavier and Georgia, another SEC team. Cornell and Ohio State tonight. South Florida and UCF, battle of I-4 there. How about that for a NIT rivalry?
Okay.
Richmond and Virginia Tech, a little battle of Virginia. There's some juicy matchups. Minnesota and Butler. Kansas State and Iowa. I feel like I'm reading bowl matchups.
It feels, well, very lesser bowls. Before January 1st bowls.
Yeah. Kansas State and Iowa feels like I just read the Cheez-It Bowl.
December 26th to December 29th bowls, for sure.
UC Irvine and Utah, Texas Southern and Tarleton State and Abilene Christian and Texas A&M Corpus Christi round out the, I think actually that's the if I get real close, CIT. Is Texas Southern and Tarleton State and Abilene Christian, Texas A&M Corpus Christi. I didn't even know they have that. I believe that's tiny writing. CIT tonight. But the NIT teams did participate in the NIT, and you can follow that along as well. But the NCAA tonight, Wagner and Howard, Colorado State, and Virginia. Talking spring practice, which gets going roughly in about 3 hours right now. It's 9:36 is when the media will be allowed into the practice fields over there. And this is interesting because, last year we heard a lot of things about DeCarrion Joyner, the wide receiver room, and then that kind of didn't come to fruition. It was Mario Anderson who really developed into RB1. But I go back, right now my biggest concern offensively is the wide receiver room. I don't know what role Nick Harbor will have this spring with him also running track.
And running well.
And running very well, yes. Who's going to step up at that position? Who becomes the guy? Do you have these transfers that have come in? I think you would say highlighted by Jared Brown, the Coastal Carolina transfer. Mike Furry now taking over as wide receivers coach. And I want to hear good things, and I want to get excited. Unfortunately for me, and maybe for you, because this was during your time period, and maybe for others, Taquay Muhammad will always stick in my head for his 212-yard spring game performance from Corey Jenkins.
Yeah, so that's my guy. And he played both sides of the ball, had a great performance in the spring, and it didn't materialize throughout the year. That happens in the spring. Somebody's going to break out in the spring, and then once the season comes around, we're going to ask what happened to that person.
Well, and it's last summer, you heard talking with people, a lot of reports were Elijah Caldwell. The wide receiver from Northwestern was looking great and maybe would come on and produce as a freshman. And this was something Shane Beamer kind of alluded to in one of his press conferences.
Oh, he said it.
That he basically
he alluded to in the first one, and then after he had to come back around, he basically said he was not happy with the development of particularly freshmen and young players at the wide receiver position. Hence why he made a change.
Tyshawn Russell is a guy that last year played some. Caldwell is another guy. Like I said, you then go and you have the transfers that are coming in. But that's kind of the point to me is I don't know what I hear that I don't want to say it's not that I don't believe it, but I don't know what I hear that to me will translate. And I'm asking you as a football player what you would hear that would translate to, okay, that guy's coming around to step up and fill the shoes. Because the last few years, that transition going from, what did it go? It went from Shi Smith to Josh Vann. It went from Shi Smith to Josh Vann to Juice Wells to Xavier Legette. South Carolina's had a guy step up, and really you can go back before that. It was, I believe, Brian Edwards, and before that it was Debo Samuel. Somebody has stepped up each and every year.
Well, in every one of those cases, those dudes were waiting in the wings. We had seen glimpses of them in the previous season before they stepped on to be the main guy. Doesn't feel like that guy exists right now previously in the room. And so somebody's going to have a breakout year. So I would assume what I would be listening to hear is, one, sounds basic, sounds elementary, sounds almost nonsensical, but are we catching the ball? Very simply, are our guys catching the balls that they're targeted to catch? Two, once they catch the ball, are they making something out of nothing? Do we have any explosives? Now, Bill, you being the negative Nancy that you're going to be for the spring, you're going to say, obviously, well, the defense is not tackling well. That's why they made these big plays. And that might be true. But we need to be able to see some big or explosives from the wide receiver room. And that's going to be something that we have not that we don't know whether it exists or not. And again, that's why I keep saying there is, if there was a spring practice that you wanted to get interested in, this could be one, because there are a lot of unanswered questions at essentially every position, especially on offense.
Going back to the wide receiver, you do have the transfers. Amari Huggins-Bruce comes in. The former Dillon native who transfers from Louisville comes in, 5'11", 175 pounds. What can he do in his 1 year? The freshman, Mazeo Bennett, coming in. The highly thought-of freshman, Mazeo Bennett, coming in. What can he do for Mike Furry? Again, another freshman, DeBron Gatling, who was kind of a late signee, had been committed to Texas A&M, is coming in. He's a guy, again, 6 foot, about 200 pounds, from Alpharetta, Georgia. Tyshawn Russell, again, was a guy that I thought at times showed he had a huge drop. I can't remember which game that was. He had a huge drop. Kelton Henderson was a guy they were very high on last year, but got injured and never really was able to showcase what he could do in practice to have an opportunity to get on the field. C.J. Adams is another redshirt freshman, 6'2", 220 pounds, that is more of, I guess, what's going to be your big receiver. That's one other thing here. Outside of Nick Harbor, you don't have that big, hulking wide receiver. Harbor is at 6'5". After that, at least according to the most recent depth chart, there's C.J. Adams at 6'2" is the biggest wide receiver.
Yeah, I've said it here plenty of times. I like to have a wide receiver room with a lot of variety. You know, you have a big guy, a possession receiver, little slot guy, somebody who can go up and be a deep threat, get the ball at the high point. I don't like having a wide receiver room where everybody kind of is interchangeable and looks the same. I would like to have specific guys be able to do specific things. But we don't know what their physical abilities are. And everybody that you said, I mean, it all sounds good, but as you've said, we haven't seen many of these players. I mean, unless you're going deep down watching old Louisville film, I don't know if that's you, but, that's not me. So I need to see what they're doing now.
No, and I definitely wasn't watching Miami, Ohio footage for Gage Larvadain.
Well, they did play the real Miami last year.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Gage Larvadain, I mean, he's another guy transfer that is coming in 5'10", about 180 pounds. Again, Miami of Ohio. Again, Jared Brown, 6 foot, 190 pounds from Coastal Carolina.
But also the flip side of that is maybe Mike Fury is developing these wide receivers into a unit. Maybe that was we don't know. And so it's kind of we have to figure out whether it's the chicken or the egg, or whether...
You know how we figured out?
Ooh.
You know how we figured out?
Yeah, how?
We watched the game on August 31st.
There's a long time between now and August.
That's how we figured it out.
A lot of things are happening between now and August.
I watched that game, and then you know what I do? I watched the Kentucky game the following week. That's how I figured it out. 803-404-6100, how you can weigh in this morning. We'll wrap up hour one. J.C. Sherbert set to join us in studio. Coming up later on this morning, you're listening to The Early Game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. The Pittsburgh Steelers retooled their quarterback room with a pair of similar yet different stars, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Wilson, a decade older, boasts a Super Bowl ring. He's the presumptive opening day quarterback. However, once he falters, you know the fans are going to be screaming for Fields. If you got two starting quarterbacks, you ain't got any. I'm Boomer Esiason.
When a cold keeps you up, try NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever, Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste to give your body the rest it needs to get that cold gone. Wake up refreshed, feeling relieved after enjoying the delicious flavor of NyQuil Severe Honey. NyQuil Severe Honey Flavor, use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And with My Lowe's Rewards, your savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers and earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union wants to reward you for saving more of your hard-earned money, and they can't think of a better way to do it than with more cash. When you participate in Palmetto Citizens Save to Win program, every time you make a savings deposit of just $25, you'll be entered into a monthly and quarterly prize drawing for a chance to win up to $5,000. All the money that piles up in your Save to Win account is yours to keep, along with the interest you earned, so there's never been a better time to get the ball rolling on your savings plan. With a Save to Win account, there's nothing to lose and everything to win. Open your 12-month Save to Win term certificate account and start saving today by visiting any of Palmetto Citizens' 14 branches across the Midlands, or go to palmettocitizens.org to learn more. Palmetto Citizens, proudly serving the Midlands since 1936. Account may be subject to penalty for early withdrawal. This credit union is federally insured by the NCUA.
There's something remarkable about the University of South Carolina. It's in the labs, where researchers are discovering ways to make communities healthier and stronger. It's in the nation's best first-year student experience, in top-ranked programs in nursing and health sciences. It's where more South Carolina students have access to higher education than ever before. Because when you stand for something bigger than yourself, you can create something that benefits us all. Behold, the remarkable we.
Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. Getting older is never fun. You start experiencing some symptoms that you're not accustomed to. Maybe it's brain fog. Maybe it's low energy level. Maybe it's lack of drive and motivation. But at the Men's Clinic, Dr. Dan Balknight is ready to help you with an individualized treatment that will treat your needs. So give him a phone call today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS. Or visit him on the web for more information, mensclinicsc.com.
Early game.
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Eight 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in. Spring practice for South Carolina getting underway today. And a little less than 3 hours now, or at least the way it's worded on our media email at 936. Media will be allowed in to watch the first 6 periods of practice, which really, when it's that's not much. Like, that's really 3 periods of stretches, a few punt returns, a couple of those like pads smacking you as you run around. Like, it's not very much at all.
And if you get really creative, like Coach Holtz used to do, used to start practice, do special teams first, and then start practice as period 1. So we would go 6 periods of special teams, then go back to period 1, because by NCAA law, you can only have 24 periods in practice. However, if you start pre-practice, those don't count.
There you go. Okay, so you are on top of it there. 803-404-6100. So spring practice set to get underway. J.C. Sherbert will be joining us in studio here coming in a few minutes. Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. David wants to weigh in this morning on the wide receivers in Nick Harbor. David, how you doing? What's on your mind?
I'm doing fine. First, I want to give you two kudos for rallying everybody to get on the bandwagon for the basketball team before they got to where they are. Y'all were ahead of the curve, so congrats on that. The question that I have is, we're not really hearing anything about the wide receiver room other than Harbor. He came to South Carolina. He wanted to go to the Olympics. The Olympic trials are in June, and the Olympics start in July. So if he makes the Olympic team, he's not really going to be in season shape with the first game being in August. I just wanted to get y'all's take on that. I hadn't heard anybody else mention the Olympics, and that was his goal when he came to Carolina. Take it off the air, and thank y'all for what you do.
Appreciate you, David. First off, on the getting on the bandwagon, we just wanted to have fun. We saw a glimpse of light, and we thought, maybe this might be something to have fun, and it's really worked out, and we're glad everybody's on board. As far as the Olympics is concerned, all I will say is it's extremely difficult to make the Olympics. He's running well. He came in second, I believe, the last time I saw him in the 200 meters. I'm not sure what that means as far as the trials are concerned. I would say it's a long shot at best for him to make the Olympics, just because it's just really hard for that to happen. And I know that was one of his goals. And I'm interested to see how maybe JC can provide a little more insight into how they're kind of parsing this out, because it feels like if that's something that he was really trying to do, then football has to be off the table. You cannot make the Olympics having your attention split between two different things.
I don't, you know what? I have no clue. I'm not even going to try. That's fair. I'm trying to look up the Olympic team trials, and it looks like the team trials are June, and I'm guessing this is when it says team trial. I mean, I really don't have a clue about how this works. My athleticism growing up never allowed me to be anywhere near anything that was mentioned as Olympic. But June 21st through the 30th, and it appears it's taking place in Eugene, Oregon. I don't know if is that like tryouts when it says team trials? Is that essentially like you come out there and you run and we take the best 200 meters or the best? I don't know.
Yeah, they're running for time, and that's the best part about it is that everybody's competing against the same clock, so regardless of what your time is. My only thought is that once he finishes his indoor season now, being able to split that time because he still needs a lot of development as a wide receiver. It doesn't feel like he would be able to devote that amount of time that he needs as a wide receiver while also devoting the time that he needs to get to the Olympic trials. So I don't know. I don't know what the game plan is. Maybe Shane will address that today. Maybe somebody, hint, any media folks out there might ask about what that is. But as of right now, I think we're all kind of left to see what the game plan is.
I truthfully, I have not paid attention to Nick Harbor's track.
He's running well.
No, what I was going to say is I don't know enough. Track and field is up there when you want to like break down sports that I have zero clue about. Track and field's going to be very near the top. And the reason I say that is you just mentioned he ran in the 200s, or he ran the 200, and I really don't even, I mean, I guess there is, there has to be a difference between running indoor and outdoor, aside from just temperature. But I don't know what he necessarily specializes in that he would be trying to qualify for the Olympics in. Right? Is that what he runs as a 200? I I don't know.
That's fair. I just think everybody just understand that the Olympics is very far away. The same thing you would be saying based on what you saw last year from Nick Harbor. Do you think he could go play in the NFL right now? That's no. Do you think he could go run in the Olympics? He needs a lot of development.
And I think this texter weighing in, and it was my understanding, again, J.C. Sherbert will join us, and we'll get a little bit more from what he knows. He says, the texter says, I thought his realistic chance to make the Olympic team was the next Summer Olympics, and that would make sense because he'd be roughly around 22.
What's that, 2026 or something like that?
No, that'd be 2028. But that would be 4 years. That's the Los Angeles. Is that the Los Angeles Olympics? Boy, we're very on our Olympic game here. But I believe that's the one that he is really shooting for, because I assume for a track athlete, that's when he's in the true prime of his running life. The most I know about running is Forrest Gump. I don't know. He ran a lot. Nike was big on that.
He's going to have to run fast.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other fast people in the world.
I don't have the information there to. We'll get J.C. Sherbert. We'll bring in an expert. Spring practice opening today. We'll talk more about that. Basketball opening tonight. We'll talk more about that. A lot to do.
Preston here. Let me tell you about my friends at Integrated Media. Okay, look, the spring is here. Spring has sprung. All of the big events that are happening. You have the tournament. You have the golf tournament. You have all types of stuff that you could be watching on your outside patio. So go ahead and get it ready. You can get Samsung Terrace TVs, waterproof. You can get Sonos outdoor speakers for TV and music, Wi-Fi that works indoors and outdoors, or my personal favorite, controlling all your devices from just one remote. So from home theater setup to adjusting your thermostat or monitoring your security systems from your cell phone, Integrated Media is the company that you need to call. So call Nathan and Michael at 803-948-8327. That's 803-948-8327. Or you can reach them online at integratedmediainc.com. That's online at integratedmediainc.com.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory, and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your go-to destination for nonstop entertainment. Play for fun and play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void or prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
The 89th running of the Carolina Cup Races presented by MUSC Health. March 30th in Camden, South Carolina. It's where spring begins. Make your plans now to attend this great Southern tradition for the best tailgating, entertainment, fashion, and fun for kids and adults of all ages. Gates open at 9 a.m. rain or shine. Come see fantastic thoroughbreds, jump the fences, and race to victory. Get your tickets now and plan to party with family and friends all day. Visit carolinacup.org for tickets and details. Don't miss it. Saturday, March 30th.
Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union wants to reward you for saving more of your hard-earned money, and they can't think of a better way to do it than with more cash. When you participate in Palmetto Citizens Save to Win program, every time you make a savings deposit of just $25, you'll be entered into a monthly and quarterly prize drawing for a chance to win up to $5,000. All the money that piles up in your Save to Win account is yours to keep, along with the interest you earned, so there's never been a better time to get the ball rolling on your savings plan. With a Save to Win account, there's nothing to lose and everything to win. Open your 12-month Save to Win term certificate account and start saving today by visiting any of Palmetto Citizens' 14 branches across the Midlands, or go to palmettocitizens.org to learn more. Palmetto Citizens, proudly serving the Midlands since 1936. Account may be subject to penalty for early withdrawal. This credit union is federally insured by the NCUA.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
All right, we've got some stuff cleared up this morning, according to a couple different listeners who were on the scene. Everything is clear at Augusta Road on I-20. Eastbound and westbound are open now, so we've gotten that cleared up. Excellent work out there. This morning, we do have a disabled truck still at I-20 eastbound at Monticello Road. So that's really all we've got going here as we hit the 7 o'clock hour. Again, according to a couple listeners who, thank you for weighing in, were able to help us with I-20 eastbound being cleared up. Today's high 62, the low tonight 39. Again, the pollen count, not that you need me to tell you, it's high. The pollen is high. Right now, around 39 degrees. You're listening to the early game, 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
Hey, this is South Carolina DQ Smith. You listen to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station. The early game.
So I'm curious as far as the game is concerned now, because you kind of got warmed up yesterday and asking a question of the coaches. Are you going to have that sideline pass so that you're really going to be the roving reporter during the game?
No. I'm maxed out, done for the year.
With Bill Gunter, Jen Jensen, former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Because I had to kind of pay attention.
That was your fault. You didn't identify yourself.
He's toast.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
$7 a.m. as we get you up and get you going. I want to remind you, coming up 2 weeks from Friday, we have our 107.5 The Game golf tournament, and you need to get registered today. You need to call Charwood Golf Club, 803-755-2000 to get registered. Again, that's 803-755-2000. We got a lot of things coming together for this. It's $400 for a foursome. 10 a.m. shotgun start. We got all kinds of giveaways we're going to have that day. USC baseball tickets, Carowinds tickets, concert tickets, craft beer passport. We're going to have onion sausage that morning from Old Timey Meat Market. That'll be awesome. Yeah.
Most importantly.
Right. That'll be breakfast. Breakfast. I keep saying breakfast. It'll be onion sausage. Rock Lucas will be on the grill. Onion sausage for breakfast from Old Timey Meat Market. Firehouse Subs will be providing lunch. So we've got breakfast and lunch for you. Call out to Charwood and get registered today. These spots tend to go fast. We filled up the last 3 years. 803-755-2000 to get registered. Again, call today. I forgot to mention onion sausage and a mimosa bar sponsored by Saki's Wine and Spirits. Don't you worry. We've got you covered. You want to come out early, Preston and I will be out there broadcasting, so you can come on out about 8:30, start hitting golf balls, hang out with us. It'll be the Final Four weekend, by the way, so we'll have a lot to talk about. That is the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Tournament, April 5th at Charwood. $400 for a foursome, 10 a.m. shotgun start. Call today and get registered, 803-755-2000 is how you can do that. So we're looking forward to that, 2 weeks from Friday. J.C. Sherbert in studio. Normally we do this on the phone. You're in town. Spring practice brings everybody to town, Preston Thorne.
It's a big day. It's a big day. First day of spring.
First day of spring ball. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it out there for the stretching that they let you watch. But I actually get a little bit out of that because, you see the guys in person, you got height and weight and all that good stuff. And I'm a big nerd when it comes to that stuff. But the eyeball test, as you will.
Yeah,
but,
you can go see and say, oh, Preston isn't 6'2".
Don't want to see the eyeball test. I don't want to see the eyeball test again. I'm tired of seeing
it says 6'2" on the program. It doesn't look like 6'2".
Yeah, it looks like, but you can tell sometimes what guys have been working.
For sure.
What guys maybe haven't, and who's a little slow, who's a little sluggish. But generally, you don't get a lot out of it. And so, but I have another obligation I have to do today. I'm actually in town meeting with Garnet Trust about NIL matters. That was my primary motivation for making the 13-hour drive down.
Oh, the drive.
Well, I drove. It worked out because I rented a car. Flying these days is a little precarious if you start reading the newspaper. If you start reading the news, But I wanted to drive because I was going to hit Nashville for the game on Thursday, so I got a chance to go stop by through Nashville and watch the Gamecocks play Arkansas. And then head on my merry way. So that was worked out perfectly as far as that goes. And trying to kind of get back here soon. I've been kind of delayed a little bit, but certainly glad to be in the studio with you. I'm staying right around the corner, so it made sense to come in and meet Preston in person for the first time.
Yeah.
I guess for the first time since he's been a non-Carolina football player.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure I met him back in the
Yes,
day.
sir.
They will get going. We'll talk some of that basketball. We'll talk a little bit about Garnet Trust. Is that now? We'll talk about it later in this hour, but that comes a little bit more now with all of a sudden a competitive basketball team, and how, because I like the foundation of this team, JC, and Preston and I have kind of talked about it going back to last Thursday with the announcement of the extension for Lamont Paris, and looking ahead to next year and seeing guys like Colin Murray-Boyles and Zach Davis, and if you can bring Miles Stute back and you can bring Michi Johnson back and some of these other guys, plus they're going to have to hit the transfer portal and maybe fill a few spots. And, yes, unfortunately, NIL is going to be a part of that.
Yeah, or fortunately. I mean, this, kind of this year, they didn't spend as much as other schools, but Lamont, when he talks about his recruiting philosophy, I don't think you're going to have to necessarily get up there with the big spenders. Those schools don't win championships, really. Kentucky hasn't been past the first weekend of the NCAA tournament since 2019, and they have the cheddar. I think retention is a big deal when it comes to NIL. Talking about the core nucleus, and then having the resources in place to where you're an attractive destinations for the pieces that Coach Paris wants. That's the key with this. And this is they're trying different things. You look back through the history of the program, different coaches have tried different things. In terms of recruiting philosophy, Coach Fogler was very heavy in state. Then, boom, the AAU thing took over. He didn't want any part of that. Dave Odom would go to Timbuktu to find people. Really, so would Frank Morton. Yeah. And those guys did that. Darren Horn actually numerically recruited pretty well, but I don't know what happened there.
That was an odd thing because he actually recruited the state better than anyone has when you talk about Bruce Ellington, R.J. Slauson, who's Gatorade Player of the Year. Carlton Geathers had an unfortunate – was it Carlton? Clifton?
Carlton.
Yeah, Carlton. Okay, Carlton, yeah. Could have been an interesting big man with his. He was very raw, but sustained the significant knee injury. Eric Smith was highly thought of coming up.
He got, and then out of state, he got the kid that ended up at Virginia.
You got Anthony Gill.
Yeah, and
DeMontre Harris. If he had his head on, I hate to say this because I liked him. I liked Orlando Early. I got to know him real well, both at South Carolina and NC State. If Orlando Early doesn't get involved, with DeMontre Harris very closely and kind of try and dictate some, because remember he transferred. He was going to go to NC State after, but then. I think he ended up trying to go to Florida. It was a whole met. DeMontre Harris could have been one of the best big guys to come through South Carolina in a long time.
He got to Florida and Billy Donovan kicked him off the team, I think. But so Horn kind of tried it the traditional way, and but this guy Harris is a lot different because it's a system fit, and South Carolina's never really done that. And I'll say this: every coach that's come through here, including Darren Horn, with the exception of Steve Newton, since Frank McGuire has had one big year. Horn's first year was big, even though strength of schedule kept them out of the NCAA tournament. They won the SEC East. There were divisions then. Frank Martin obviously had the big year. Dave Odom had a year, the NCAA tournament. Eddie Fogler had 2 big years. It's been sustaining it. And I think in the SEC, when you look at the amount of great coaches and great programs and all that, you're swimming upriver a little bit, but when you're a special preparation and you have an identity like that works, then you can plug and play. And to me, when you're not getting 5-star guys, when you're not getting, you don't yet have that wall around the state. To me, that's a brilliant strategy, because you're going to be there consistently every single year because you are who you are. And you bring in guys that identify with that and buy into that. So I think it's a smart thing, and I think we'll see that with the transfer portal and high school recruiting moving forward. Now, you mentioned NIL. Yes, there's a need there. The Gamecock Club and Garnet Trust sent out. There's a T-shirt that's signed by Lamont Paris and Dawn Staley. I think we've sold about 300 of them since Saturday. Go buy one of those because that goes to NIL and. Garnet Trust has if you can afford it, $1,000 club. If you join that, it's $1,000. You get to go hang out with Coach Paris and the coaching staff after the season in a special event. And then we have some more things coming up specifically for basketball as we move into the portal season, low dollar stuff where, everybody can go and contribute. But there is a need there. Not going to tell you otherwise, but certainly I think that it's not insurmountable. And with the way Lamont Paris recruits and sort of the idea behind retention and all that, I think South Carolina will be in good shape to sustain that.
I think we will learn more about how Lamont Paris recruits in the junior. What is the junior side? He's already got Eli Ellis committed. He's got Hayden Simeon, I believe is how you say his last name, from in-state committed. Isaiah Henry, the brother of former Clemson linebacker KJ Henry, is a borderline 4-star wing player. But this season, what he's done here, and if they can go and win a game, just win a game. Just keep your name in the mix. Keep your name in the mix for 2 days. If they can win a game, it enhances that resume. And I think, Preston, I know, JC, you and Jamie all had Lamont on last week. You get Lamont talking, Preston, he's as down-to-earth and is just as knowledgeable a guy and genuine as a guy as I think there will be on the recruiting trail. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And what you said, JC, makes the most sense to me is because when you have an identity that you know how you're going to play, you can recruit to that identity instead of just grabbing things.
And special prep. Think about this, Preston. All right, 99. You weren't there yet. But Coach Holtz ran the 1993 offense from Notre Dame.
Right.
And Coach Strong had the 3-3-5, but they didn't turn it loose, and they had some injuries and stuff. Think about the 2000 team. Skip spread. The teams y'all played looked like they wanted to throw up because it was fast tempo,
right.
And you had Derek and all that, and then y'all on defense 3-3-5.
Well, that's the only reason. That's the only reason I got to South Carolina because obviously I was an undersized guy, but we were playing the 3-3-5, and I could fit into that particular scheme. And so when coaches have an idea of what they want to do, it makes recruiting so much easier because you can target specific guys. As we've seen this year, and I make fun of it, but I love it. Lamont's not going to be going. He would love to have some guys that can fly above the rim, but that's not necessarily what he needs to play his style of ball. He just needs the guys that can execute his game plan and play within his system. And those guys, he might have to have the conversations with them, but they're probably not going to jump off the screen on film to a lot of people, but he's going to know specifically what he's going to get.
Absolutely. And Colin Murray, and then you're going to get some guys like Colin Murray Boyles, who was kind of a later bloomer, or I guess nobody knew about him or whatever. And South Carolina, I guess he was one of the early commits. He and Arden Conyers committed right away and goes to Utah. They kind of hit him out of Utah, I think, or I don't know if they hit him or not. But, man, that guy, I mean, he can jump out the gym, and he is an above-the-rim guy. But guys like that blossom and develop sort of like he's done, you're going to hit on some of those type of guys too. They did it at Wisconsin. Wisconsin, recruiting-wise, I mean, the biggest guy I think they went after was Hero, Austin, or is it Tyler Hero. He ended up flipping to Kentucky.
Yeah.
But
they landed a couple. Bronson Koenig was a big-time point guard, and there was another guy that I forget his name who chose when they had Sam Decker was a local kid that Wisconsin recruiter that was always going there. There was another kid they beat out in North Carolina for, a really good athlete, kind of a wing player. I can't remember because I was back when I was doing 24/7 sports, and I remember covering all three of those guys because I was also having to do the North Carolina site, and North Carolina really wanted. I can't remember who the wing player was, but those were good players. But look, he's kind of what he did with Colin Murray Boyles, who went out to Utah and kind of blew up. He's kind of done the same thing with Eli Ellis. Ellis was kind of on the verge of taking off, and you get him committed. You don't have him signed yet. Now, basketball is different.
There's very few flips.
Basketball, for as many people as like, man, it's a dirty sport. Look at it. Coaches have some kind of realm of like, oh, he's committed? Don't touch him. No. Don't talk to him. No, we're not trying to flip it. He's already committed. Like, it's a very odd.
And if football is not that way at all. Football, they don't care.
You got to have them in the door.
Yeah, it's just like.
In the door.
Yeah, you got to. The old
team-issued gear on.
The old stories of having like Clyde Wren and people just parked outside the house or or I forget whichever it was. We got to hit a break. We'll continue on. Actually, some really funny stories. I forget what it was. I forget it was Clyde Wren telling a story of who it was, whether it was Clemson or South Carolina, basically keeping an in-home visit till midnight. Just they wouldn't leave because somebody else was parked outside ready to come in for their in-home visit.
I think that was Joe Morrison with Brad Edwards, if I'm not mistaken. But
it was
maybe not. I mean, and then I know Herschel Walker got crazy. With that recruitment. So
803-404-6100. You're listening to J.C. Sherbert in studio, Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner. We'll get into some spring football. We get back into it. It is the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Yes, that phone in your pocket or purse will keep you in touch with your family and friends. It will take great selfies of you on amazing adventures or just this morning's breakfast. And it's pretty good in case of an emergency. But the single most important function of your phone is the game.
But both defenses have been this year. What's so funny? The noise.
You can listen anywhere. Just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the Game app now.
I tell you what, we're back into it. That spring season. We're not real sure what's going to take place. For example, today, the low has been 37. The high today expected to be 62. So what do you do with your heating and air system? Well, you probably have the heat on this morning. Later on today, if it gets higher than 62, you might be actually cutting the air conditioner on. That's a workout. That is a lot for your heating and air unit. And guess what? AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Right now, you can get a free replacement estimate. That's right. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. If you call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500, you can get a free replacement estimate. They've got a great deal going. No payments, no interest until 2025. So a lot going on with AAA Heating and Air to make sure you get comfort in your home as soon as today. 803-677-1500. Call AAA Heating and Air today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. Getting older is never fun. You start experiencing some symptoms that you're not accustomed to. Maybe it's brain fog. Maybe it's low energy level. Maybe it's lack of drive and motivation. But at the Men's Clinic, Dr. Dan Balknight is ready to help you with an individualized treatment that will treat your needs. So give him a phone call today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, or visit him on the web for more information, mensclinicsc.com. Enjoying your pool? Well, that's one of the fun things of summer. And with Corley Pool Solutions, you can keep your pool clean, maintained, and ready to use each and every day you come home. So give Corley Pool Solutions a phone call today and line up maintenance for the spring and the summer, 803-445-8109. That's how you can get in touch with Corley Pool Solutions and the pool guru, Tracy Corley. That's right. Again, your pool is their reputation, and you can get flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. It's more affordable for you to call Tracy Corley and Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109, than for you to try and maintain your pool on your own. So go ahead. Again, Tracy is the pool guru. They want to take care of your pool this summer. They want you to enjoy your backyard luxury. So call Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109. Don't let another day go by. Line up pool maintenance today with Corley Pool Solutions.
NIL is more important than ever to success in college athletics. Our friends at Garnet Trust are trying to build the best NIL program in the country for South Carolina student athletes. Head on over to garnettrust.com where you can support Gamecock athletes, get access to exclusive content, and help build the best NIL program in the country.
What you're talking about.
Brought to you by Love Chevy. Check out the Season of Love at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 in Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Run the Cup, the Lexington Medical Center Governor's Cup Road Race. Be part of history in downtown Columbia at the longest running and most prestigious road race in the Southeast. The Half Marathon, 5K, and Main Street Mile are now open for registration. Kids can run the Cup for free in the Kids Main Street Mile. And don't miss the post-race celebration with music, food, vendors, and a special awards ceremony. Register now for the Lexington Medical Center Governor's Cup Race, April 12th and 13th. Learn more at governorscupsc.org.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Worry less about spring cleaning and call Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $129 plus a free hallway. Book online at ZerustColumbia.com.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
All right, we're trying to get this traffic straight here. We got some on-the-scene reporters, and we appreciate you being on-the-scene reporters, but please focus on driving this morning. Right now, it appears I-26 Augusta Road, I-26, not I-20, but I-26 eastbound, traffic is backed up due to an accident. Westbound at I-26 Augusta Road is moving slowly, because thank you to a lot of you out there sending in reports. But keep on driving, keep on moving. Let's get to work safely this morning. So I-26 eastbound at Augusta Road, traffic is backed up due to an accident. And I-26 westbound moving slowly, still having that disabled truck also at I-20 eastbound at Monticello Road. So a lot going on out there. Thank you to a lot of people weighing in this morning, keeping us updated. We'll keep y'all updated. It's the early game.
The early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Baseball tonight, 5:45 pregame right here on 107.5 The Game, 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. Southcon travels to Greenville, Fluor Field. They'll take on USC Upstate tonight. Again, 5:45. They'll look to turn it into a 2-game win streak after finishing up Sunday's game against Mississippi in Oxford. Again, 5:45 pregame tonight. And as always, reminder, go to 1075thegame.com and register for the Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. That's right. If a player hits a grand slam, you can win cash from Palmetto Citizens FCU. Right now, the pot is currently $500. $25 is added to each and every game, and it goes up every time somebody doesn't hit a grand slam. Well, so far this year, nobody's hit a grand slam. So right now, the pot is $500. Go to 1075thegame.com and register for the Palmetto Citizens FCU Grand Slam giveaway. Again, you can win that if you're registered, if you can win it tonight, a South Carolina player hits a grand slam, you could be the lucky winner of $500. 803-404-6100. You can weigh in this morning. We were talking some spring football, and let's go back to what we were talking about. This is, Preston, as you bring it up, Preston brought up, it's all over on his pad. He's got quarterback question mark, running back question mark, offensive line question mark. There are a lot of questions. I was going to start the segment talking about quarterback and wide receiver. And we'll start with quarterback because you do know, I think we know who the quarterback is in Lenora Sellers, but I still don't think we know who Lenora Sellers is. Some highlight plays does not make Lenora Sellers just yet.
That's the big difference. So, yeah, I can take a picture, and literally the pad does have all these question marks. But at quarterback, it is a little bit different because at least we know who that person is. We know who they are. We don't know who they are on the field as an SEC quarterback, as being, sort of the commander-in-chief of the offense. So we don't know that. And this is why I'm really glad JC is in here, because there's some names that you might be able to help fill in, or some question marks that we have, because as you see, we have question marks at each position. So so if we so if we're starting there, we've talked about the wide receiver room. I don't know if there's anywhere else that we want to go with this where you want to start. Do you want to go anywhere specific?
I'll say this about Sellers. I think there's two things that have caused kind of some skepticism. First of all, his star rating out of high school. I honestly think if he'd have had his senior year, his junior year, he would have been the top player in the country maybe, because you just don't find guys like that. I mean, he's special. Like as far as the size, the intelligence, the ability to run, the ability to throw, the ability to read defenses, you don't find guys like that. So that's A. He was under the radar, flipped him from Syracuse. It was late in the game. I think that's wearing on some people, because if this were Bryce Young, who took over in his second year at Alabama, Alabama fans wouldn't be like, well, I don't know. I don't know about Bryce. You're going to miss Mac Jones. You know what I'm saying? So that's A. And then B, I think with the transfer portal these days, the word proven has become sort of over, like with fans especially, like over. You're not going to have proven players at every position every year in college football. It's just not going to happen. But with the portal, we've kind of gotten spoiled, because a lot of years we do, more so than it used to be, where you had to rely on freshmen. And so I think that's what's – but now, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Lenore Sellers is winning the Heisman Trophy this year. He's going to lead the Gamecocks to an SEC championship. I'm just saying that they are in – if you look through the history of this program, there's been plenty of times second-year guys have been the quarterback and not only been good but thrived, going all the way back to Todd Ellis, his redshirt freshman year. He started, so I think he's that type of good. Now, how things develop around him, it's fine. I mean, I know there's going to be questions about the passing game simply because there's, 12 receptions coming back at receiver, I mean, and I think most of those are Nick Harbor. So, I mean, it's kind of a question mark there. So I get the question mark part of it, but I think, and I get it with you. We don't know who he is based on highlights. That you should never base anything on those highlights. But I have a feeling, and a really good one, everybody's gonna be just fine with him and his play.
That right there, that's what I don't want to hear. That's hype. I don't want to hear hype.
That's not hype, Bill.
I want to see it on August 31st against Ultimate. I have. Look, let's do this for a second. In all seriousness, last year I think was harder. Was one of and South Carolina fans have been through some seasons, man. They've been through some seasons. 2-8, 4-8. They've 0-11. They've seen some seasons. And I'm not picking on you, JC, but I think last year might have actually been harder on South Carolina fans, because you do have, I don't know, it's that stupid word generational, but you have a quarterback that we hadn't seen in Spencer Rattler. And you couldn't keep him upright. And you don't go to a bowl. And getting to a bowl at 6 wins should be one of the easiest things South Carolina could. And I'm not saying go to a good bowl. I'm just saying go to a bowl.
That's the baseline standard. Yeah. It has been since 2000.
I mean, just going to a bowl should be. And to not go to a bowl and then to have to watch that Clemson game, which South Carolina should have won. South Carolina should have won that game.
That was a hard one.
With any competent offense, they win that game. And that's because Clemson wasn't very good. Clemson will tell you that. They weren't very good. South Carolina wasn't very good. And it was a pillow fight, and South Carolina threw a bad pass that resulted in a touchdown for Clemson. And South Carolina's only touchdown came on one of the wildest trick plays from the 2-yard line I've ever had to watch.
It was crazy.
And last year was hard. And I think for a lot of people, it's like, all right, man, Lenore Sellers may be the second coming of Joe Montana. He might be awesome. But show me.
All right.
Show me.
So, it started hard last year, North Carolina.
Exactly.
So he can't show you till he shows you, right?
Right.
So there's
and I have seen there were the play. Look, I'm guilty. Count me as guilty because he threw that dime against who was it? Who did he throw? Furman. And I'm on Twitter. Of course, I'd had a few in-game beverages.
He did that.
I'm on Twitter. Oh, hype. Yeah, and then he runs against Vanderbilt, and he makes them all look goofy.
There's some practice film that circulated. He did the same thing. Rolled out to his right. Oh my God, where's he throwing it? Oh, it landed right in the dude's bread basket.
And so I'm guilty, but I've circled around. And that's kind of where I'm at with this. I want to see this team, and I want to see Lenore Sellers. Because also one thing that we haven't talked about, and I tell you what, let's do this in the next segment because I don't want to run into it, is the offense is going to change, right?
To a certain extent.
Let's talk about that the next time. We'll talk about this.
6'4",
Well, no,
with 4.45.
With more of the zone read. That's what I'm saying. The offense is going to change.
A little zone, yeah, and that zone read means a lot these days. But yeah, we can talk about that. I mean, because it is going to change, but I think change for the better. Because
I'll let you two get all into the hype of the offense and football hands.
You got to be able to run the ball.
Another part. 803-404-6100. It's the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Got a take?
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Reminder, coming up on April the 5th, it's the 107.5 The Game golf tournament. We will be out at Charwood. Preston and I will be broadcasting, and we want to see you come out for the 107.5 The Game golf tournament. $400 for a foursome. Tee time. 10 a.m. That'll be Friday, April the 5th. We'll have Camp Discovery will be involved with us. We'll have giveaways, including USC baseball tickets, Carowinds tickets, concert tickets, craft beer passports. We'll have breakfast, onion sausage provided by Old Timey Meat Market, lunch provided by Firehouse Subs. Trust me, this is an event you want to come and hang out with. 803-755-2000. That's how you call Charwood today to get registered. Again, 803-755-2000. Again, onion sausage for breakfast to go along with Saki's Wine and Spirits promoting a mimosa bar. Again, Carowinds tickets, concert tickets, USC baseball tickets. We got it all. April the 5th, Charwood Golf Club. Come out and join us for the 107.5 The Game Spring Golf Tournament.
Brakes for less. If you have the squeal, we have the deal. Get all 4 brakes for $239. Brakes for Less, located in Columbia and Sumter. Call 803-254-STOP for an appointment or just walk in.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service. Pioneer Tree Service has more than 4 decades of helping homeowners maintain and manage trees on their property. Their skilled crew offers customized solutions that match your needs and budget. Tree trimming and tree removal can be dangerous. You need to trust the people that are doing the job. Before attempting to remove limbs, call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote. They remove limbs safely and make sure that future growth is directed away from potential trouble areas such as roof lines and driveways. Cutting down trees takes more than a chainsaw. Even branches can weigh thousands of pounds, and their removal must be handled with care. Pioneer Tree Service offers a full complement of state-of-the-art heavy equipment, from track hose to bucket trucks to safely remove trees and stumps from your property. And no matter where you live, the Gantt girls can get there. And I want you to call them at 803-794-8253.
How would you like to drive a new car with no payments for 3 full months? That's exactly what you can do when your car loan is with State Credit Union. Visit one of their 19 branches or their website for details. Apply for your new car loan online at scscu.com. That's scscu.com. Offer not available for internal refinances. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by the NCUA. March into serenity and step into relaxation with the Spring Madness Member for a Day sale at Hand and Stone Massage and Facial Spa. Indulge in exclusive benefits, including 10% off products, access to low member price services, and special savings on gift cards. Explore rejuvenation at their locations in the Columbia area or visit handandstone.com to unlock online offers. Embrace the tranquil spirit of spring. See spa for details. Restrictions may apply.
What you're talking about.
Brought to you by Love Chevy, the best selection of new Chevys. Right now, no hassle, no ridiculous add-on stickers. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
What's up, folks? Anthony Armstrong here. Bob Popple, along with Super Bowl champion Carl Banks.
Hey, NFL fans. This is Solomon Wilcox, former NFL safety and host of the Believe in Bengals podcast. Catch my show and all 32 Believe NFL podcasts. Listen in to former players give their inside perspective on your favorite team. Search Believe, that's B-L-E-A-V, on Apple, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcast.
It's always football season, wherever you listen.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
Is sponsored by
Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
Okay, now you guys are getting fully involved out there in the traffic. Let's see here. We've got an accident, I-26 eastbound at Augusta Road. I-26 westbound, traffic is moving slowly at Augusta Road. Clemson Road at Percival Road, we've got a little tie-up there. I-26 eastbound at exit 68. Look, let's not be too thrilled to get to work this morning. Drive safely. Got another issue, I-26 eastbound at I-20. US 321 at Charleston Highway. There's a lot going on. Just relax, get to work safely. It's going to be a nice day. High is supposed to get into the low 60s, about 62, low tonight of 39. Opening of spring football today, NCAA basketball tournament. I'm excited too, but drive safely.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
(803-404-6100) is how you can weigh in. J.C. Sherbert in studio joining us this morning, and spring football practice getting underway again. Roughly about 2 hours from now, the email we got from the university saying media will be allowed to observe the first 6 periods of practice will begin at 9:36. So roughly about 2 hours away. You'll be able to go onto thebigspur.com. I believe it'll be Hale McGranahan, who I saw.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. He'll be out there covering. Hale will be out there covering spring. So you can go to thebigspur.com and get live updates as Hale will have, what'd you call it? The eye test. Oh, so
I think Alex and Whittle, maybe. Whittle, I don't know, because Whittle's got to go to Pittsburgh. So I don't know if
he's got to go, and he's got to go to probably to Greenville tonight for USC baseball, I would assume, maybe. As well. So a lot going on.
He sets his own schedule. He's Whittle.
He is. Talked to him the other day. The offense, though, will be one thing. Because there is going to be an adjustment. I don't want to – Preston and I laughed about this a little bit at the Combine. Spencer Rattler with a 4.95.
I mean, listen, I've been on record saying, hey, listen, Spencer, your future is in your arms, so not your legs. And we've known that the whole time. And so – yes, the zone read was not going to be a part of Dow's game plan because he too saw Spencer at spring practice. Like, I don't think that's what we want to do.
I mean, they surprised some people when Spencer ran on the design runs at times last year just because they couldn't get anything going. But, yeah, that 40 didn't surprise me. One thing I do like about him, though, and I think he learned that at South Carolina because Oklahoma, he always had a clean pocket and nobody touched him. I mean, nobody played defense in that league, and it was during the pandemic where nobody played defense anyway. But he could avoid pressure, and I don't think he ran the 3-cone, but I would have been curious to see his 3-cone because that's lateral.
Yeah, he's mobile inside the quarterback, laterally. And he can move around.
Yeah, he's not a statue.
He's just not gonna.
But the straight line, he's not Michael Vick.
Well, so that brings it. And you both of you brought up the running game, and Preston is a defensive lineman. I'm trying to think of who you guys might have. Matt Jones comes to mind.
Oh, nightmares.
I mean, I don't want to compare. I hate to do this because of hype. Yeah,
literal nightmares.
I don't want to do this because of hype, but I'm going to do this. I can see some similarities. I think Matt Jones was about 6'6", which is bigger than Dow Loggins, but it's also way
bigger than Dow.
It's also bigger than Lenoris Sellers. Now Sellers, I think, is physically heavier. I think Jones was about 6'6", 225, maybe.
Yeah. He was a big dude, man. He was a pretty impressive specimen and could pull away from you at any time. But we played against Woody Dantzler.
True.
Who's obviously Lenoris is is bigger than. The issue with this is being able to. It's going to help Lenoris to be able to have the run game because he's a freshman playing in the SEC. It's inevitable that he will struggle at times which is fine, as a freshman will. But being able to rely on your legs to get a first down when you need to, or being able to open up the run game by adding on the quarterback instead of having to give to the getting the numbers right in the box, all that technical stuff, it's only beneficial to somebody who is going to be looking at SEC defenses for the first time. So it all helps.
Yeah, and I think, too, with regards to the offensive line, I don't think we all expected it to be super duper last year, but I thought with what they had coming back, if the guys that were returning guys played their best ball, they'd be okay. Well, then Jalen Nichols gets hurt. Tyshawn Wanamaker did not play his best ball. He's no longer even with the program playing football. You had Case and Henry go out the first play. The injuries started to pile up, so you're forced to play freshmen. Well, the good news about that is these freshmen have become sophomores. And I'll go back to 99. And those guys that played in 99, youngsters, and they had terrible – this was the worst injury situation on the offensive line since that season, where the Gamecocks did not win a game. And look at the next year. That line was fine, led by Cedric Williams and Watt Sanderson, and I think Travell Wharton came in then. And
was real quick, was Watt Sanderson, was that the per derm?
No, that was Willie Sanders. But Watt Sanderson is, you talk about the eye test.
Yeah, that dude looked like he was like the Incredible Hulk. But so I think the health, and then I think these young guys like Tree Babalade and Trovon Ball, those guys taking their lumps last year will pay dividends this year. Now, I think this offensive line is about a year away from being really, really good? Yes. But I think they'll be significantly better. And I think having a back in the back, like multiple backs that could break a tackle every now and then, only Mario seemed to be able to do that last year, is going to pay dividends as well with a running quarterback and with Sean Elliott's run game coming in, which nobody can seem to stop even at Georgia State.
Okay.
So, I'm not hyping anything, Bill.
Excitement meter just went up a tad.
I'm just saying.
It clicked up. It clicked up a tad.
There are tangible reasons to think the offense is going to be fine. Now, I heard y'all's discussion about the receivers, and I'll just tell you to keep an eye on the kid from Miami of Ohio and the kid from Coastal. I think they need to add another one in the portal, if we're being honest, for everybody to feel great about it. But Lava Day, I think, is the kid. He's from Louisiana. Miami of Ohio went through a 1999 Gamecocks quarterback type situation last year. Basically had Rashad Amos just running it up the middle at the end. But this kid, when he got it, he caught a 78-yard touchdown against Miami of Florida. He's made big plays against big time teams. And then Jared Brown is a kind of I don't want to compare him to Deebo Samuel, but he's that style of like thicker, explosive receiver that you can hand the ball off to and do a lot of different things with. And then Tyshawn Russell, he's walking in the end zone at Missouri on that slant, but he's open.
Right.
That's catching the ball is the conclusion of the play. And I think he can get a lot better. Kelton Henderson, people are going to think I'm crazy. I think Luke Doty has a role in the receiver room this year. And then the tight ends will be pretty solid, I think. So, on that side of the ball, there's a little reason for optimism out there. Like I said, I don't want to hype it too much because you are replacing a lot of proven guys, and they're not a lot of proven guys. I'll say this, if Rocket Sanders is anywhere close to 2022, you're talking about an All-American running back. If he makes it anywhere close to where he was, that's a stud. That's an NFL guy.
Well, to that point, and we talked about this earlier when it first happened, but all the folks I talked to have either coached him or coached against him. Everybody says Juwan Howell is somebody who can step in and compete immediately.
Yeah, I know who you've been talking to because I've heard the same thing, man. And I mentioned his name a little while ago. That guy. Look, don't sleep on him. I didn't want to bring out the high train.
I'm just telling you. But I know. Obviously, it's not a secret. Nashawn Goddard, former Gamecock, is one of his O-line coaches.
Was telling me about it.
Said has talked about him, coached against him. These guys are very high on him.
Everybody at HBCU locally talks about this kid, and you talk about Derek Watson, okay, and that style of back. I thought Squeaky was very unique. This is the closest thing, and I think he also wears 22.
Does he? Okay.
And has got that spin move Derek had.
Oh boy.
So I that's my player comparison style-wise with him.
Come on, Bill.
And, look, man, Mario came from Newberry and held his own. This kid's level up, and it's crazy. It's a crazy recruiting story. He's from Mooresville, North Carolina. Nobody even knew about him. SC State found about him late. Nobody knew. No Shrine Bowl, no nothing. Just a baller. So, and then the other side of the ball, there are no excuses this year because they got a lot of players back, and now they've built some depth. And if you go through the defense, guys, there's no reason why they can't be taking a step forward.
Come on, Bill.
You're gonna spend 1 month just pulling me into this, aren't you?
Bill.
I hadn't gotten to the schedule yet. I hadn't mentioned the schedule yet, have I?
We'll get into that.
This is the fun part of the year.
Fine.
We got to actually play games in August. We can all get on board now.
J.C. Sherbert is in studio with us this morning. Preston Thorne is trying to get me into being just completely hyped and just dance around and enjoy it. And wait for Phil Steele's magazine at 803-404-6100. We'll continue on. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, J.C. Sherbert in studio. It's the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. The Game will be at the beach, in the PD, and the Midlands. That almost covers the whole Palmetto State. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
No rain in the forecast today. However, you know what? It will be coming soon, and that means you want to make sure your roof has a little bit of leak prevention. And if you're not even sure, you need to call Midstate Roofing for a little bit of leak detection. For nearly 30 years, Midstate Roofing has been the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry, and it's their proven history that is your assurance that their professionals will provide proper advice, service, and results for the needs of your facility. So call today, 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week call center. They are ready to help you with an on-call technician. 803-356-1919. Again, it's 803-356-1919. Or you can visit them on the web for more information, midstateroofing.com. So again, with rain coming up in the forecast, you want to make sure that your roof is ready to keep your business or home nice and dry. So call Midstate Roofing today. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you, 803-356-1919.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by LL Flooring. LL Flooring, every step covered. Tonight, Wagner tips off the NCAA tournament with a playing game against fellow potential 16th seed Howard. Wagner had to defeat all top 3 Northeast Conference tournament seeds on the road and with only 7 healthy regular players. Good luck. I'm Boomer Esiason. CBS Sports Radio.
At LL Flooring, we've been a trusted partner to pros for over 30 years. With over 400 nationwide warehouses full of in-stock, job-ready inventory, you'll get what you need. And our exclusive pro pricing means that pros never pay retail. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. So we're going to do it right. Sign up for a free pro account today to start getting pro benefits. LL Flooring, every step covered.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
There's something remarkable about the University of South Carolina. It's in the labs, where researchers are discovering ways to make communities healthier and stronger. It's in the nation's best first-year student experience, in top-ranked programs in nursing and health sciences. It's where more South Carolina students have access to higher education than ever before. Because when you stand for something bigger than yourself, you can create something that benefits us all. Behold, the remarkable we.
Last throw, big guy.
Come on, baby. I need me a giant bear.
I got this. I'm the target. Ben, throw.
Oh, well, look who won a giant bear.
That's a grizzly.
Oh, Mama's baby bear.
When you join the South Carolina Education Lottery's Players Club, you get way more than you expect. More chances, more wins, and more surprises.
Yeah, he's had all his shots. Just don't look him in the eye.
Join the Players Club at seeducationlottery.com because more happens here.
Welcome to the fastest growing place in the world. Population 115 million and getting bigger by the day. Easy to get to and almost impossible to leave. This is a place where you can eat like a king for as little as $1. Pizza counts as a vegetable, and the food is simply to die for. Don't believe us? Just ask the friends and family of the 300,000 who did last year. Here, we've got the whole world in the palm of our hand, where folks spend an average of 5 hours a day on their mobile devices. You can even order fast food delivery through your video game console any time of day. And when it comes to nightlife, watch out, because there's a new city that never sleeps. With 24-hour fast food drive-thrus and folks working round the clock, it's no wonder 1 in 3 people here can't sleep. This is a place we'd tell you to come and visit, if you didn't already live here. Welcome to the state of America. Welcome to Obesity USA. To learn more, go to visitobesity.org. That's visitobecity.org. Brought to you by the Pennington Biomedical Research Foundation.
Early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
.750 as we roll through here on an interesting Tuesday morning as we get going. Spring football practice about an hour and a half away. Preston slowly dragging me into being excited.
Come on, man. What else we got? We play games in August, and then there's no running from it. So let's all get excited right now.
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
South Carolina will get no off-season hype. None. The occasional Brad Crawford, Lenore Sellers may be pretty good, but they'll be picked 12th to 13th.
There's going to be a point. There's going to be a point.
Prepare for it.
Sellers' moments last year were phenomenal. I mean, they were phenomenal. And I think, there is that question of should have they maybe used him, maybe burnt his red shirt somewhere along the line and used him to help with the running game, to get to a bowl game. There's going to be that. Look, you guys were mentioning the Howell hype. There are credible people, not just random people, but credible Cedric Wilson, Deshaun Goddard, guys who have seen him,
coached him. Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like when I say credible in the term of these guys are college football coaches and speaking well of them. You mentioned the defense. I don't know what to expect from the defense. I think maybe the biggest transition it feels to me is the linebacker position now, where I don't know. It feels there's more speed.
There is more speed. There's no doubt. There's more speed. Pup and Stone were not. I mean,
let me ask you this.
I didn't like to call them slow because they weren't. I didn't think they were slow. I just think they were more like lateral guys, not straight line guys.
Let me ask both of you. Preston is a player, JC is an analyst, and this isn't a knock on South Carolina because Pup Howard had offers from everybody, okay? It's not. Was that a bad evaluation by people on him with his speed? Should have he ended up, was he too stiff, Preston? Was he too slow? Did he think too much? Because he definitely wasn't what I thought he would be. And I hate to do that to the kid, but that's the truth. It's the truth.
I don't know the answers to any of those questions. What I will say, based on what JC just said, as a freshman, there's so much happening that might have slowed him down as far as his processing speed, being able to see what's going on. Even if you're the most advanced senior coming in and expected to play in the middle of a SEC defense is a very tall task for anybody. So what you would hope that he could rely on was his athleticism to sort of get him from A to B where his mind can't get him. And to your point, I don't think he had as much of that as maybe people thought he did.
And it's not. And I'm not knocking South Carolina because Florida just took him. Florida's a big time program.
Of course.
He had offers in the recruiting process from everybody. And JC, you and I've traveled around, seen a bunch of recruits. Sometimes people just miss on guys.
You have to be careful. I'd hesitate to call him a miss. I mean, opinions were split on him in terms of so Florida State thought he was an end.
Okay.
In their system, Florida definitely thought he was a linebacker. You have to be careful. I call it the Brandon Spikes rule. Everybody, when a class of 07 that I evaluated, 06, Florida's first big class, everybody's like, Brandon Spikes is an end. He runs 4.9, whatever. No, he's a hellacious middle linebacker. Jasper Brinkley, if you were just evaluating him on the Huff, eyeball test-wise out of JUCO, like they did with his brother, you're probably putting him at end. Well, that's a mistake. So sometimes guys like that, against really the odds, work out. Rolando McClain at Alabama was a guy a lot like that. So you got to be careful. You can't just put the big guys at end. You got to give him a chance. And I don't know that he won't be a really good inside linebacker. I don't. We'll see how he projects out. All I know is between he and Stone Blanton, if you compare the speed of those guys with Bengali Kamara, who was a nickel before he grew into a middle linebacker at Pitt, and Demetrius Knight, who runs 21 miles an hour on the Catapult, which is the same speed as Nick Ebenware.
Nice. That's
an upgrade speed-wise. Demetrius Knight is a grown man with, I think he's got a family, 2 kids. And, he came to Georgia Tech as a quarterback and played special teams, goes to Charlotte, moves to linebacker, makes 96 tackles in his all-conference, and runs 21 miles an hour on the Catapult. He's from Atlanta, just a kid from Atlanta. Kamara, I'm watching Pitt and Duke last year, and nothing to play for either team. Nothing. And he's all over the field, as a warrior. He's a warrior.
We'll talk more about that. JC's going to hang around a little bit longer as we do football discussion. Hour 3 on the way. It's the early game. Bill Gunner for the Pool Guru. That's right. It is officially time to have that pool in place and ready to be used. All that pollen out there, though, can slow you down. And you need somebody who knows exactly what they're doing to keep that pool clean and ready to be used on a daily basis. And that is why Tracy Corley is indeed the Pool Guru. Give a phone call today and find out for yourself. 803-445-8109. Corley Pool Solutions, they believe in providing the absolute highest quality swimming pool service at the most affordable price to you and your family. And you need maintenance right now. And with Corley Pool Solutions, you know exactly what you're getting. They have flat rate pricing, including all of the chemicals. It's more affordable to call Corley Pool Solutions today, 803-445-8109, than it is for you to try and maintain the pool yourself through a pool store. Call Corley Pool Solutions, 803-445-8109.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. What you're talking about.
Brought to you by Love Chevy. Check out the Season of Love at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 in Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Welcome to the ultimate playground for online social casino enthusiasts. Get ready to live the Chumba life and play over 100 online casino-style games for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Life matters. Here are some more nevers from Ed Morrow's book, 599 Things You Should Never Do. A wise man once said, never put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Morrow offers a few variations on that theme. Never put off till tomorrow what you can get somebody else to do today. Mark Twain said, never put off till tomorrow what you can do the day after tomorrow. And Ann Landers won the prize by saying, never put off till tomorrow what you can avoid altogether. I must admit that I live by all of these maxims at one time or another, but there are some things that should never be postponed. For instance, never let an opportunity slip to tell your family that you love them. Never pass up the opportunity to read to a child. And never pass up the opportunity to ask your Heavenly Father for help. Even the mightiest people of history often affirm their need of heavenly help from time to time. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty from Christian Life. Remember, life matters, and so do you.
The Cocky Trot 5K and Fun Run and Walk, presented by Palmetto Shirt Company, is back. Join Gamecock fans on Saturday, April 20th for the fun-filled morning racing around Gamecock Park and Williams-Brice Stadium. Learn more and register today at GamecocksOnline.com/CockyTrot.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
All right, couple of traffic updates for you here. Two Notch Road at Bar Road. We got a little incident there. Clemson Road at Percival Road. I-20 eastbound at exit 68. Still a little bit of a tie-up. I-26 eastbound at I-20. And then you've got US 321 at Charleston Highway. Again, a lot going on out there. It's a nice Tuesday. Encourage you to just drive slowly, enjoy the morning, get to work, and be happy, not run into somebody and be angry. Two Notch Road at Bar Road, Clemson Road at Percival Road, I-20 eastbound at exit 68, I-26 eastbound at I-20, US 321 at Charleston Highway. That's where you've got a bunch of incidents this morning. Drive safely. We got a whole another hour we're going to bring to you. It's the early game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Gamecock Athletics Director Ray Tanner, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game,
a Cumulus media station.
The early game
with Bill Gunter.
Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way.
It's my theme music right there.
Jen Jensen.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I wake up to.
Pretty much.
Tells me to stay humble.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And I could do anything.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Rolling through a Tuesday morning with basketball. NCAA tournament starting tonight, or if you're into that kind of thing, the NIT gets going tonight with the teams that elected to play in the NIT. We'll talk more about that as we go through the morning and even get into tomorrow. But tonight is Howard and Wagner, and Virginia and Colorado State. Montana State and Grambling tomorrow night, along with Boise State and Colorado. It is the first four in Dayton. So officially, I think the three of us are voting. It's unofficially, but officially the NCAA tournament does start tonight. So the countdown is on. I think most people, though, Preston and JC, the requirement is your bracket has to be in by noon Thursday, not by 6:40 tonight.
Yeah, I got Virginia going pretty far in my bracket. People are going to think I'm crazy.
You got them beating Tennessee in the second round?
Yeah.
How about you got them winning in the Sweet 16?
No.
You got them losing to South Carolina?
Yes.
Okay. There's
no. All right. It's a homer bracket. I put a homer bracket.
Preston has said you have to. Everybody has to fill out one homer bracket.
Fill out a homer. Make sure you do that. Do yourself the service of filling out a homer bracket.
I'm not the contest I'm in. I'm not eligible to win, so who cares? But I got a homer bracket. I got Virginia marching all the way through, getting hot and surprising Tennessee, and then I think Purdue finally knocking the Gamecocks out. But hey, I'm 3.5 hours from Detroit, so that's one of the only advantages of living that close to Detroit is that the Gamecocks go.
A South Carolina-Virginia basketball game. Would you put the over-under at 50?
Yes.
Points?
South Carolina, Virginia?
Yeah.
First one to 35.
First one to 35 win. But no.
That would be a clinic for high school coaches wanting to teach fundamentals. Like, that game would circulate old school high school coaches who want to teach
you see this
proper pivots, proper ball placement, elbows out. That'd be the way to that video. South Carolina, Virginia would circulate old school high school basketball coaches' film rooms Film rooms, by the way, not DVDs. Yeah. That would be on VHS.
Yes.
I'm just gonna pop this in the VCR here, guys. See the bounce right here? Look at that. Look at the form.
Chest pass.
Chest pass. Yes.
Hey, I've noticed South Carolina this year though the bounce passes, chest passes, things like that. The stuff you work on getting back on defense.
No.
Like dude, like when play fifth, sixth grade church ball. Hey, get back on defense. That's what your young youth league coach used to say, get back on defense. Who knew that it was that simple? In college, get back on defense. Well, they do. And guess what? They're pretty good at doing it.
They do everything. Now, there will be a question for next season that I think is going to be really interesting. One thing that Lamont Paris kind of preached, and whoever his assistants would talk to, was the experience of this team. How they went from being one of the least experienced teams last year during the 11-win season to one of the more experienced teams here in 2023, 2024. I mean, you have guys like Stephen Clark, who played a lot of minutes at the Citadel and obviously started early on in the year in place of Colin Murray Boyles. Well, he doesn't play much at all, but he started at Citadel. You had B.J. Mack, who has played a lot of basketball. You have Talon Cooper, who is an old man out there.
So even to the point about Stephen Clark, so he doesn't get a lot of minutes in playtime, but what is he doing in practice? What's he doing in the locker room?
Yeah.
How is he building the team?
He's
How is all
team
that?
leader.
Yes, it's one less person that we have to worry about, and that means a lot, especially as you're trying to make a run.
I mean,
so that's very interesting.
Believe it or not, this team has some NCAA tournament experience too. Josh Gray was on a tournament team at LSU. He didn't play a lot. Michie Johnson logged 15 minutes for Ohio State last time, his last year there in a tournament game. Bosmans Verdonk was on a couple of Illinois teams.
Bosman Verdonk was on the team that beat.
Yes, that beat Lamar.
And that's, by the way, that's another guy, Bosman Verdonk, who early in the season when he was playing looked like he'd improved.
He did.
He looked like he had improved, and obviously because of the play of Colin Murray Boyles, I think Josh Gray has played better down the stretch when he's gotten his moments. It's a team who has experience.
Yeah, I mean, and then of course Talon Cooper was in the tournament at Morehead State.
Right.
So, I mean, it's kind of good. I mean, and I'll tell you this about B.J. Mack. That Southern Conference tournament, it's do or die. I mean, there's just as much pressure there as there is in the NCAA,
well,
especially a program like Wofford that expects to win.
Right. Well, those lower – look at Princeton. I mean, we were terrified of a 5-12 with Princeton. That was another one we figured it would be first one to 47. And Princeton loses, and there goes their season.
I didn't want Princeton. I didn't want McNeese State. I didn't want Samford. I mean, Oregon actually was. I mean, I thought the seeding was. I thought Carolina was definitely a 5, but I would rather have the matchup with Oregon and then Creighton, who is a similar style, but probably just a better team in the second round. I mean, Creighton. I've watched a lot of their games this year. When they're hot, they're they may be one of the best teams in the country, but when they're not, you can beat them. South Carolina could easily beat them.
The one thing about Creighton, and Preston, you opened the show talking about, I think, their metrics.
Yeah, and again, these were very dorky analytic folks throwing around a lot of numbers that I didn't understand. But every time they kept throwing around numbers, Creighton Blue Jays kept coming up. They kept popping up as a potential team that out of all of these teams, maybe these 8 teams can win. And Creighton seemed to satisfy a lot of those metrics.
In my non-homer bracket, I may take them to go to the Final Four. I mean, just honestly, but they got to be hot. If they have an off-day shooting, just like a lot of teams like that, they don't have much of an inside presence. What's interesting to me is how many Akron Zips fans exist.
The ones that live in Akron.
It's an hour and 46 minutes from Akron to Pittsburgh.
Oh, so
will they have a home court advantage?
Akron?
Will Akron Zip Nation show up?
No, I told Preston, I think I told him off air, like I watched a lot of Creighton basketball. There's something about this year, there's something about especially Big East teams who don't have football programs that I tend to watch more of because that's fascinating to me. Like if you, like Villanova, Xavier, sadly, DePaul.
Patino at St. John's,
Seton Hall, these teams that don't have football, I'm like, because they're invested, like that is their thing, and Creighton, you go up there and you watch, Creighton, that facility they have is packed out, that is their thing, and they are fully invested in it, and it's the same way at Seton Hall, who declined an NIT invitation, things of that nature. St. John's declined it, like, no, it's below us. We're not playing in this dumb NIT tournament you have.
They and Creighton has NIL money.
Right.
Warren Buffett, name whoever else is at Mutual of Omaha, all those companies out in Omaha, or because Mike Morgan told me that because he did a Creighton game, and they've got money.
No, I mean they invest in their program. Now, with that being said, Creighton has moments where they go all Kentucky and play strictly offense and no defense. Yeah. Like there are moments where they just decide we're not doing the defensive thing tonight. We're going to launch and play minimal defense, and we'll just see if we can outscore you. They got away with it early at the very end of the season. They beat Marquette, beat your boy Shaka Smart 89-75. It almost bit them in the rear end. They got up at the final regular season game of the year. They played Villanova, and they were up like 32-8 within the first 10 minutes of the game. They were blowing out Villanova. Villanova came back, and Creighton had to hit a last-second buzzer beater to win by 2 in that game because they got up so much. They just, defense doesn't matter anymore in this game. That's an interesting team. I do have them right now in my initial bracket. My initial bracket has a Final Four of Houston and Creighton, Auburn, and North Carolina, with North Carolina and Houston playing, and I've got Houston winning the national championship.
Houston seems to be due. Kelvin Sampson's due, way overdue for a national championship. I think with regards to Akron and the home court advantage, and one of the national talking heads did say Akron's got a pretty athletic team.
They shouldn't be in the tournament, though.
Problem. Huh?
They shouldn't be in the tournament.
Why? They lost to.
You want to?
Oh, yeah. Well, they were playing Kent State, and they were losing. I don't know if you saw that, where they were losing to Kent State.
Yes.
Kent State goes up, makes the shot, goes up, and then intentionally fouls when they were up by 1. Then Akron makes the 1-and-1 and wins the game, which was heartbreaking. But
yeah, they survived there, man.
Yes, it was Have you seen it?
I did watch it now. It didn't register.
You got to go check it out.
I'm going to go watch it
One
again.
of the wildest scenes you remember. They go up 1, dude intentionally fouls. I don't know what he was thinking or what
Frank Martin's team won a game like that this year, by the way.
Really?
I can't remember who they were playing, somebody. But Frank Martin's team was same exact thing. They were on the road, and basically something similar happened. And Martin's team made 2 free throws. I think it was Matt Cross made 2 free throws or something. And again, they had no business winning.
Frank's team was a lot like his bubble teams here, man. A lot, just up and down.
They had a loss. I was shocked they lost in their tournament because all of a sudden the path opened up for them when the number 1 seed there went down, and Richmond was a team that was expected to go to be in the NCAA tournament.
VCU? See, I watched them play. I was at
St. Joe's, I think. St. Joe's was the 9 seed in the A10 tournament.
I thought it was VCU that beat it. Well,
no, I'm sorry. VCU beat Frank's team. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was a bingo night one night, and lo and behold, UMass VCU come on. I'm like, hey, it's Dave Odom's son versus Frank Martin. I'm going to watch it. UMass beat the snot out of those guys. I mean, it wasn't – but it's just like South Carolina. They're very streaky.
Yeah.
They were up like 18-2. Then halftime was about a 6-point game. And I'm not talking about like this year's Gamecock team, which will get up and surrender a lead. It feels different because Frank's team would just go ice cold and all of a sudden start throwing the ball out of bounds and things like that. I think here it's just missing shots simply with Lamont Paris. But that very similar, and you get to the tournament and you have a golden opportunity and you get just blown out. I mean, to be as good,
they got beat by 14 or 15 in that A10 tournament game.
I don't know what he did in the Big 12 tournament was at Kansas State. I need to research that. But to be as good in the NCAA tournament as he is, I don't know what happens in conference tournaments with him.
It's different. At least in the NCAA tournament. At least in the NCAA tournament, you get that almost 24-hour gap, and that's what I'm interested to see. That's another reason I want to learn a little bit more about Lamont Paris here, is because he mentioned in one of his interviews, either in Nashville or this week, the way they do their scouting, the way their scouting is designed, it is designed around getting to an NCAA tournament where basically you get that quick turnaround. Yeah, you play Oregon, but then you've got to turn around and know Akron and Creighton will play prior to South Carolina. So I'll imagine, even though he's focused on Oregon, he'll have an assistant paying a little bit, maybe even watching the entire game, not just the film, not just getting the film afterwards, but watching the entire game. And then that assistant maybe is kind of in charge of minutes or something different, something I say more light for the Oregon game. But then if they were to win, that assistant has the scout on whomever wins that game.
Get him in front. I think I'm probably going to answer my own question here. In the NCAA tournament, these teams are not familiar with you. You know, that was what was kind of scary in the Elite Eight a few years back, playing Florida for a third time, because they know you. And teams in that tournament that year with Thornwell and Dozier and the length on the perimeter, they had even Duke had no answer for South Carolina's defense. And then South Carolina was hot from the field. And so their offense came alive, and it was just smothering. But a good point is Oregon's not used to playing South Carolina. You know, Auburn certainly was, you know, but, you know, some other teams certainly are. Tennessee the second time certainly was. Ole Miss, I mean, but they're not used to that. They're not used to the style of play. So that'll be interesting to see if the style of play gives the Ducks issues, you know.
803-404-6100. That's how you can weigh in if you so want to do so this morning. We'll come back. We'll get back into football. One more segment with JC here and kind of wrap things up as spring practice set to get going today. You're listening. JC Sherbert in studio. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird. It's the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Preston here. Let me tell you about my friends at Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. So if your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. If it's a cracked windshield, that's no problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you. Yes, they will come out to wherever you are, whether you're at school, home, work, doesn't matter. They will come out to you, replace it for you, usually for free. And they work directly with the insurance company to take away the headache. Now, if you're sitting at home, you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows or mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of all of that for you, too. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. If you can see through it, Ray and Marianne at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
.1075 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Clark. Garnet Trust is hoping to build the best and most sustainable NIL program in the country. To find out how you can get involved, go on over to GarnetTrust.com. You can support Gamecock athletes there, get access to exclusive content, and help Garnet Trust build the best NIL program in the country.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Hey Gamecocks, Ben Cato. Cold weather is here now, and if you're like me, that probably means you haven't touched your yard equipment in a while. Don't wait until the weeds are knee-high. The service center at Cato's Power Equipment is here to fix any problem, big or small. Let us keep your tools one pull away from getting you back to work. Mention this ad, and we'll throw in a free oil change and fuel flush on any Toro, Gravely, or Aaron Zero Turn, now through March 31st. Only at Cato's Power Equipment, 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, right outside of downtown Columbia.
The Anastapula Law Firm has been recovering millions for their clients for over 30 years. Whether it's a slip and fall, car accident, or any other issues that have resulted from an accident, Anastapula Law Firm can help. Their South Carolina personal injury attorneys have experience fighting for the rights of their clients. Remember, don't scream, call Akeem. Dial 800-ALL-7s now. Herb Glass is responsible for this ad, and cases are handled at 32 Ann Street, Charleston, South Carolina, 29403. Paid endorsement, not actually client. Results may vary.
Music fans, on Friday, March 22nd, a very special night is coming to Columbia. Southern Songwriters with Patrick Davis, a national television show produced for SCE TV and American Public Television, is taping live at the historic Chappelle Auditorium at Allen University. Patrick will be joined by Drew Holcomb, David Ryan Harris, and Sean Mullins. This show will air on more than 300 stations this summer, and you can be part of it. Tickets are on sale at southernsongwriters.com or patrickdavismusic.com. One night only, March 22nd in Columbia.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? I'm Dr. Mark Bentley with Columbia Secret for Weight Loss, and I know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged or boxed meals, no surgery, and no hypnosis, call my office now at 803-999-3020.
Toby, a patient at the Columbia Secret for Weight Loss.
My goal is to lose about 80 pounds, and currently after 60 days, I'd got to 56 pounds, so feeling really good about where things are. Anybody, any age, any weight can do this program and be successful.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month. That's a half a pound to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 803-999-3020. That's 803-999-3020 or ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
Got a couple of y'all. Our good buddy Brian Glenn sending me a picture. And yes, I-26 eastbound at 378, it is backed up, and they are directing traffic up by the high school. It's up by the high school, up by the hospital. So if you are on I-26, what do we got here? I-26 eastbound, I believe. There are all kinds of issues there, so you're going to need to find an alternate route. They are directing traffic off of the interstate, up the exit ramp, and back down right now. So keep an eye on that. That's the big one. A few others, I-20, Two Notch Road at Bar Road, Clemson Road at Percival Road. Keep an eye out. Drive safe this morning.
Message Board Mayhem, sponsored by the Miles Agency. Call for a free quote today, 803-798-4600. The Early Game.
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
J.C. Sherbert in studio with us this morning as we roll along. Spring practice officially upon us. In this segment, the Message Board Mayhem. J.C., you know a thing or two about crazy message board posts. You got one or two that have stood out to you all time?
Oh, there was one called Choaching. It was during the Spurrier era, and it was just like choaching. These choaches don't choach really well, and this won't need to be fired. And it was like, it wasn't the post, it was the reaction. It was like 575 LOLs later. It went in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
There was one, the best one was a relationship one. Like somebody was like, lived in California, like I think the girl was Erin or something. He was like, I just miss my Erin so much. I want to tell her that I love her, but I just don't know how to do it. We've been broken up now for a month. Should I just go to her house? I mean, just like cringe. Not even like, hey, I'm having a hard time. My old lady left me. It's cringy, like, wow. And so everybody now is like, where is Erin? And what's Erin up to? And how is that? That poor guy. I mean, he was like, guys, I thought y'all were my friends, you know. And the Big Spur message board is, in a lot of ways, it's evolved. I mean, it's 17 years old. I mean, it's been around for a while, right? And it is a family. Like people, when people's pets pass away or they've had a death in the family or sickness or prayer request, by and large, everybody's like, man, they'll put their arms around them and say, okay. But it is a locker room, and you have to keep that in mind. It's a virtual locker room. And so coming in and be like, guys, it's been a month, and I don't know if I should show up to her house, and, you're engaged in kind of borderline stalking behavior, and it's like time to get over it because the 30-day mark has passed. Perhaps you're going to get ribbed a little bit. But Choching and Aaron were the two best ones as far as and there's a weather thread that is still going. I mean, like just people just talking about
the weather
the dynamics of weather, like you see on the Weather Channel, or the science behind it. It's very informative. But I think it's still over 6 million views through time, and somebody will bump anytime the winter weather gets here, or the possibility of it, they'll bump it up. People start talking again.
There you go, Preston.
So those are the top 3 of all time.
Message board mayhem right there.
I miss message boards, man. Message boards was a huge part of the internet, and now that we're all basically on these same platforms, it's not as cool as message boards were, because you could get on the message board about anything and just go down these crazy rabbit holes about. You have people arguing for days and days about Method Man being better than Ghostface Killah, and that's not the best Wu-Tang album, and this would be for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's just, those are good times, man. Twitter's not, you don't get the same feeling.
Did you never get into the biggest, I think, was way back in the day, probably mid 2000s, early 2000s. The Rivals main board was the one that
started that.
Like, that was a terrifying place. You talk about a place where, boy, you better bring your A game or it went downhill quick.
Oh, man, we had somebody fake their own death on there. Super Speed. He was a Southern Cal fan, and somebody comes on there and like, Super Speed unfortunately got in a car wreck and passed away, left his wife and kids. So people created like taglines in their post, Super Speed, dates that he lived, gone but not forgotten. And then one day he just comes back and says, hey, guys, I made the whole thing up. I banned him for life. But no, when I first got to Rivals, the Rivals main board was just like Jeremy Crabtree answering questions and no interaction. So part of my job when I got there was to build this thing, which prepared me to build the Big Spur, obviously, which also prepared me to be able to live with Twitter.
Yeah.
Because that's just like everybody's on a message board. It doesn't. I'm immune because of living on message boards all this time. But it became raucous. I mean, man, it was just, there were all kinds of characters on it. It still exists, and people still have their Rivals membership just because of the main board. But yeah, you would get, rankings day was a bad day for me because inevitably you're going to tick somebody off, right? And they take it too far. But that guy faking his own death, that was about the most weird thing that I think I've ever seen.
Yeah. Like I said, message board internet era was very fun.
A couple people day weighing in and said, I bought my wife's engagement ring from Iceman off of there. Another texter says, you went on Google for the truth. You'd go on message boards to find the real truth. Message boards are a true part of the early 2000s history.
That's what I'm saying, man. It was such, and like I said, I obviously I was in sports, so I didn't really go any sports message boards, but I was on like music message boards.
Oh yeah.
And you would just have people just having these arguments, and then there would be these characters that would develop, and then all these different concepts and ideas, and week-long sagas about the song that came out and the third verse, and then the one I was on, you would have like the artist pop in and it'd be like, that's not true. And blah, blah. I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Eventually,
awesome.
If it was a subject matter, eventually the subject matter or a relative of theirs would pop in.
Yeah.
But listen, I don't know where you're getting this information from.
Oh, man.
But there's no way Steve did that with that dog. All right.
Good times, man.
Dayways says, best thread in Rivals main board history was the one where some random dude posted at 1 p.m. on a random Sunday saying Osama bin Laden was dead. 10 hours later, that was the truth.
Wow.
Like, we talk about the one, I remember one on a message board that basically called out, I can't remember, was it like Rhett Bomar? Remember the quarterback at Oklahoma?
Yeah.
And basically called them all out for working at a Oklahoma car dealership or being no-shows, basically. Paid thousands of dollars to no-show,
they got in
and
trouble.
it got Oklahoma in trouble.
Yeah, the NCAA monitored it. Like the compliance person that because I knew kind of, I'm not trying to dox them, but I don't think I'm doxing them by not saying their real name. But it was like their username on Rivals was Watchful Eye. Freaky, right? I'm like, you're not creepy at all, Watchful Eye. But yeah, it was something else. I mean, that's yeah, you'd get in trouble on that. But yeah, George W. Bush was actually a registered user and a member of OrangeBloods.com. Maybe it may have been Bush that got on there. Hey, just
calling him out.
What was his handle? Be Crawford Cowboy, something like that. Hey, guess what? I'm gonna go put it on the Rivals main board. See what these people think. Osama's dead.
Justin weighs in and says, whenever I go to purchase a home, I don't Google to see how many offenders are in the area. I Google to see how many original Rivals message board members are in the area. For a lot of people are probably our age, mid 40s, late 40s. Yeah. That Rivals main board again. I like you said, I know you stayed off of, but boy, I'm
sure it was great.
And that was like at one point I remember I was terrified. This is again before my sporting days. So it was college. I was terrified to post because sometimes they'd go on. You had people could track you down with your IP address,
sure,
and figure out exactly who you were.
We had to stop that. We had to send a couple of lawyer letters for that because that was kind of unkind. I'd ban people for that too. But it's crazy, Bill, because with all Twitter and all, you think message boards would die. The BigSpur.com, and we did a poll. Like our users are now trending younger.
Really?
Like it's not just a bunch of old dudes. And traffic, I'm not talking about the website in general, but just the message board, top 10 in all of sports in the world.
Wow.
So there are some Gamecocks still addicted to message boards out there, and they're on the Big Spur, I guess. So that's a pretty impressive feat. And I was encouraged because although it's annoying sometimes dealing with younger posters because they don't have the worldview I do, it means I'll have a job for a while.
There you go, man. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, I loved it.
Great
Thank
time,
you
man.
so
Appreciate
much.
it.
Definitely.
I'll see you guys. Talk to you guys next Tuesday from Chi-Town.
JC in town for a Garnet Trust event. Coming back, we'll maybe an idol of Preston Thorns is retired.
The GOAT.
We will let him explain. You're listening to Preston Thorn, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird, JC Sherbert in studio. It is the early game.
The Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Ever sit in this meeting?
What would you say you do here? I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that?
Think to yourself, man, I'd rather be listening to The Game.
You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorn, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download our app on all of your devices, and you'll never be without The Game again.
Bill Gunner for Love Chevrolet in 2024. It's all about in with the new at Love Chevrolet, whether it's a Tahoe, a Suburban, a Camaro, maybe the red hot Silverado. And with 14 acres of brand new Chevys at Love Chevrolet, you're going to find one of those brand new vehicles. So go ahead, get in touch with Love Chevrolet today and contact them I-26 in Harbison between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or you can visit them on the web, lovechevrolet.com or lovechevy.com. Right now, go out and visit Love Chevrolet and check out that incredible selection of vehicles. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Whether it's a Tahoe, a Suburban, or a Silverado, Love Chevrolet has got you taken care of. So get out to Love Chevrolet today and get out to Love Chevrolet today, and together, let's drive.
Introducing Chumba Casino, the thrilling online social casino that's free to play. Head on over to ChumbaCasino.com now to join in on the fun. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
When it comes to beautiful lawns, nothing cuts like a Gravely zero-turn mower. And there's nothing like Gravely's Mow the Distance sales event starting the 27th. Save up to 25% with special financing available. Only at your local Gravely dealer.
Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. Getting older is never fun. You start experiencing some symptoms that you're not accustomed to. Maybe it's brain fog. Maybe it's low energy level. Maybe it's lack of drive and motivation. But at the Men's Clinic, Dr. Dan Balknight is ready to help you with an individualized treatment that will treat your needs. So give them a phone call today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, or visit them on the web for more information, mensclinicsc.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance, making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit progressive.com.
Plus tax and title with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. JT's Kia Mania is in week 3. Don't let credit concerns keep you from buying a new or pre-owned Kia. Nobody fights harder than JT to get you approved. With every new Kia, you'll get a huge cashback check. Plus, JT has no money down, no payments for 6 months. And check out our 0% financing. Everyone who comes gets to spin our prize wheel for cash and prizes. Greystone Boulevard or Killian Road. JT's Kia Mania is back.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Steven Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worrying. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Shepherd's Glass has provided commercial, residential, and auto glass installation, repair, and replacement to Columbia for over 50 years. Large retail storefronts, auto, custom shower enclosures, and mirrors for that remodeling or new construction project. Visit shepherdsglass.com to see and learn more. Now with 2 locations on Platte Springs Road in West Columbia and Chapin at 855 Chapin Road. shepherdsglass.com.
Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
I am Dorothy Dodson. I have grandkids and great-grandkids. I know it is important to have pest control solutions that are very effective. Our family does things the right way for your family. Visit DodsonPROS.com.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
Try and get you some updates here. Again, I-26 eastbound, still a major issue right now. We've had some people sending in pictures. It's turning into a stop-and-go situation now, but I-26 eastbound, if you're heading that way over by Highway 378, you might want to try and find an alternate route around it. We'll try and keep you updated on that. Got some accidents, Bar Road at Two Notch at Longs Pond Road, and we still have that disabled vehicle, I-26 eastbound after exit 91 going on. But the main issue this morning is a tie-up, I-26 eastbound at Highway 378 right there where Lexington Hospital is. So again, if you can find an alternate route around that, try to do it. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, producer Ed Bird, you're listening to The Early Game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Reminder to come out to the Twin Peaks Dance Contest. No, it's not what you think. Stop thinking that. This is for the NCAA tournament. You can come on out to Twin Peaks at 11:30 a.m. before the halftime show broadcast live and grab one of the 68 teams in the dance. If your team wins, you get South Carolina baseball season tickets for the rest of the season. There will be other great prizes. That will be this Thursday at Twin Peaks in the Vista. It is the Twin Peaks Dance Contest. Please go, because they say if 68 people do not go and get their team, Preston Thorne, this is written right here. If 68 people do not go out to Twin Peaks and pick up a team, Terry Ford will be dancing from 2 to 3 on a table.
Do with that what you will. I don't know what that means. You want to go, or whether I don't know what you want to do. Do you want to see it, or do you want to stop this from being seen?
Please save Terry Ford from dancing on a table. It's the Twin Peaks Dance Contest again. Get out there starting at 11:30 before the halftime show. It'll be Thursday. You can watch some basketball out there, hang out with Terry Ford, and a few others of us will be, I'm sure, swinging by. And again, you can go by and grab one of the 68 teams in the dance. I guess technically you're going to grab 64 because there will be 4 losers before Thursday, starting tonight with Howard and Wagner, also Virginia and Oklahoma State. But if you grab a team and your team wins, you can get South Carolina baseball season tickets for the rest of the season. There'll be other prizes as well. Again, that's 11:30 at Twin Peaks in the Vista on Thursday. What do you got?
The GOAT has left the building.
Is 32 years old young for a defensive lineman, or average, or where do we put 32? Because when I saw the news of Aaron Donald retiring, I thought, he had discussed this after they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and everybody thought he was kind of just angling for more money, but I think he was obviously he was serious. And he came back for another year, had another tremendous year as he wants to. And no, 32 is not young for any football player. 32 is up in age, especially as a defensive tackle, somebody who plays in the trenches. And like I said, if you just Google Aaron Donald double teamed, you'll see so many pictures coming up of him being quadruple teamed, triple teamed, being paid extra special attention to as a defensive lineman. Yeah, so Aaron Donald's the GOAT. This is the conversation very much along the lines of a Jordan LeBron type of conversation, where my personal GOAT is Warren Sapp.
Okay.
Sapp is my personal GOAT. To me, he's a hero of mine, an idol, a guy that I wanted to be like. But if I have to put my personal bias aside and really look around and survey the land, we haven't seen anything like Aaron Donald from the deep. He revolutionized the game at a time when things were changing in the NFL. This guy was the most dominant player in the NFL for the past 10 years. Right there with J.J. Watt, I would say between Aaron Donald and J.J. Watt, those dudes for defensive linemen were tremendous. And this is what you got to do, Bill. You're on the computer. I want you to Google something.
Okay.
Just Google Preston Thorne recruiting profile, or however you would get to that information. Let's play this out.
Now I've got homework.
Let's play this out here.
This is off of 24/7 Sports. We're going to go way back. We should have brought this up.
Give me that media guide.
The old school Preston Thorne recruiting bio lists a defensive tackle, 6'1", 260 pounds.
Now I need you to look up Aaron Donald.
The recruiting profile?
Sure. Because we want to prove a point here.
Aaron Donald. This is also off of 24/7 Sports.
So we
out of Penn Hills. Penn Hills High School. I'm about to learn something here. In Pittsburgh, PA, 6'1", 285 pounds.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is why we all need to know that God gives favor to some folks. Because Aaron Donald and I are the exact same size. And Aaron Donald is the greatest player to ever maybe put on pads in the history of the NFL. And Preston, well, he was a scholarship guy, right? Some people are different. And so a lot of times people, if you have a high schooler right now and they're looking around and they're saying like, look at Aaron Donald. Y'all are the same size. No, you're not the same. You're the same size, but you are not the same. You are not the same as this guy was. Me and Sapp, we were a little bit closer in proportions. You know, like I could see Sapp and be like, oh, yeah, I could do like that guy. But even Sapp, crazy athletic, crazy athlete. I was just looking up some information from Sapp. Dude ran a 4.6 at the combine. We just finished talking about Spencer Rattler, who ran a 4.9.
4.95.
So Warren Sapp at 6'2", no way. 300, no way. Right? He wasn't 6'2", nor was he 300. He was lower than 6'2" and above 300.
Yeah.
And a tremendous athlete. And so there are a lot of conversations you can have about who's the greatest. Some people would argue that Sapp was the greatest because the game was tougher. There was a little bit more running. It was a little bit more of an interior game. Some people would argue that Aaron Donald's the greatest because of the sack numbers. I think I have to side on the idea that Aaron Donald is the GOAT. And so for defensive linemen all around the country, this is a it's a rough time because one of the greatest is no longer representing us. And when I say us, I mean us sub 6 foot guys.
Yeah, the guys on the smaller, shorter, or whatever.
The guys on the shorter side. Anybody sub, because listen, this is what fans need to know. If he's listed in the media guide as 6'1", he's not. He's not.
You're always shorter than whatever's in the media guide?
Well, they're always shorter, but 6'1" specifically, that means he's 5'11" and a half.
Okay.
It doesn't even mean he's 6 foot. So be very clear on that. So shout out to you, Aaron Donald, short king, defensive tackle god. We appreciate your service.
And very rich. You see this career earnings number here.
A lot of commas.
$157.1 million. It's actually $157,114,238 is how much, according to this article, that is Aaron Donald's career earnings. So you think, because this always kind of amazes me. A guy retires at 32, and you're like, man, what's he going to do for another 40 years? Aaron Donald's got $157 million, not counting whatever he's invested in or how that's working. He's going to do whatever he wants to do.
He has some time to figure things out.
Yeah.
The weird thing about a guy like Aaron Donald, the difference between Aaron Donald and Warren Sapp, we know we need Warren Sapp within to have some structure, because if he doesn't have structure, things could go off the rails. What's interesting about Aaron Donald is he's such a workout warrior, kind of this guy who's so dedicated to the game. I wonder what he's going to actually do, because nothing is going to provide the same type of intensity that he got from the NFL. So for years, we worry about them for different reasons. Aaron Donald, he's going to have to find something to do. Warren Sapp, well, we've seen what he gets into.
So was he your favorite player Aaron Donald over the last 15 years?
Yeah.
Not calling it great, but your favorite. The Rams are on.
If the Rams are on, I'm watching. I was definitely watching. I mean, to be honest, Aaron Donald left, and then Fletcher Cox also retired, and I think those were the two best interior linemen in the NFL for the past 10 years.
803-404-6100. We'll come back. We will wrap it up. Spring practice gets underway in a little less than an hour now. We'll get Preston Thorne's final thoughts on spring. See, we changed places. You seemed disgruntled with spring when we started. By the time we got halfway through the show, you were fired up.
I kind of might have talked myself into it.
You got into it.
Well, it was just all these question marks that I had on my paper. Like, okay, maybe this is something intriguing.
We'll get into that. You're listening to the early game.
Game Network.
The home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
Also on the 107.5 The Game app and streaming live on The Game TV. Yes, that phone in your pocket or purse will keep you in touch with your family and friends. It will take great selfies of you on amazing adventures or just this morning's breakfast. And it's pretty good in case of an emergency. But the single most important function of your phone is the game.
But both defenses have been this year. What's so funny? The noise.
You can listen anywhere. Just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the Game app now.
Oh, man, we are rolling through tax season. How are you feeling? How you feeling out there? Have you got your taxes in? Have you gotten your tax refund? Or, oh, my goodness, have you received one of those dreaded notices of intent to levy from the IRS? Or have you received other threatening information? Well, don't let it cause you stress. Contact the Ecton Law Firm today. Live a stress-free life in terms of your taxes by consulting with the Ecton Law Firm. You get a free consultation, 803-771-9800. Again, that's 803-771-9800. They have a local team dedicated to resolving your income or business tax issues for good. They understand the challenges that you're facing. That's why John Ecton and his team are ready to offer you peace of mind. So call them today. You want to tell them that Bill Gunner sent you, or you heard it right here with Bill Gunner. 803-771-9800. That's the Ecton Law Firm.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by LL Flooring. LL Flooring, every step covered. PGA Tour Policy Board player directors met yesterday with Yasir Al-Rumayyan, the governor of Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund. Among the negotiable issues, how much the Saudis will invest in the PGA Tour, of course, and how LIV golfers might be repatriated to the PGA Tour. I'm Boomer Esiason. CBS Sports Radio.
If you're a pro and flooring is your game, we'll help you win it.
Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. You want decor?
Try.
You want plumbing?
You're out.
LL Flooring has been helping pros knock it out of the park for over 30 years. Visit one of our 400 nationwide warehouses for one-on-one service, extensive inventory, and exclusive pro pricing. Get the pro treatment you deserve. Enroll today, online or in-store. LL Flooring, every step covered.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. And here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below. You take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone.
Bill Gunner from Mid-State Roofing. Rain will be in the forecast. Okay, not for today, but it's coming up here soon. And you know what? You're going to want to make sure that your roof is ready to handle that with a little bit of leak detection. And Mid-State Roofing, for nearly 30 years, they've been the commercial leader in the roofing industry. And they're ready to help you today with a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week call center. I know it's 8:48 right now and that most businesses are open. But you know what? For 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Mid-State Roofing is open. So if you've got a leak, you need to let Mid-State Roofing take a peek. Give them a phone call, 803-356-1919. Again, that's 803-356-1919. If you give them a call, you'll speak with an on-call technician who's ready to help you with a maintenance contract. So call Mid-State Roofing today, 803-356-1919. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
The Early Game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen. Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Another reminder coming up again. 2 weeks from Friday, it is our 107.5 The Game golf tournament out at Charwood Golf Club, and we want to see you out there with us. It's going to be a blast. It is April the 5th, Charwood Golf Club. Get registered today. 803-755-2000. Again, 803-755-2000. You need to call Charwood and register today. $400 for a foursome. We will have a shotgun start at 10 a.m. Breakfast. We'll get breakfast going bright and early. Preston and I will be out there. We'll be broadcasting. We're fired up for it. Breakfast from Old Timey Meat Market. It'll be onion sausage. That delicious piece of bread. Put onion sausage, a little bit of mustard in it. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. We'll be talking Final Four. We'll be talking a little bit of spring game. Preston's going to tell us in just a second what Shane Beamer is going to say later today at his 12:30 press conference. But you'll want to come out. We'll have lunch by Firehouse Subs. Breakfast will also be featuring a little bit of mimosas from Saki's Wine and Spirits. Again, Firehouse Subs will be bringing the sandwiches for lunch. We'll have great prizes. You want to come out and be a part of that. USC baseball tickets, Carowinds tickets, concert tickets, some craft beer passports. We're going to have it all. You're going to want to be out there April the 5th. April the 5th, again, is when the tournament takes place, 10 a.m. $400 for a foursome. Call today to Charwood and get registered, 803-755-2000.
Really quickly, I know I said something very controversial. I said Aaron Donald's the GOAT defensive player, and there's been responses, one in particular, Lawrence Taylor. I would add Reggie White to that same category as guys that were obviously tremendous, probably the best of all times. My distinction for those two is that they were physical freaks of athletes. These were guys that if you saw them, you'd be like, yes, that is the guy who would probably be the best defensive player. Mountain of men. if you see Aaron Donald or Warren Sapp in the regular general public, you might be like, maybe that guy does something. And so my only distinction, why I'll say is the GOAT, is the combination of maximizing size and ability. But obviously, Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White are way up there on the Mount Rushmore of defensive linemen.
Did you ever watch that 30 for 30 on Reggie White?
Yeah, it was very interesting. Very interesting. And it was cool because I was younger when that stuff was happening, so I vaguely remembered. But now as an adult, I thought it was very illuminating about who he was as a man.
803-404-6100. All right, so spring practice starts here roughly at about 45, or the media is being let in at 9:36 this morning. You can go to thebigspur.com, Gamecock Central, wherever, and you can see the observations from what the guys are out there observing, the heights, the weights, all the neat things, the pad. It's again, first practice of spring practice is just shoulder pad, or is it just helmets?
It might be just helmets.
Yeah, it's very limited. All right, Shane Beamer then will follow that up with a press conference at 12:30 today.
We had a great day. Everybody looked good. We're healthy. Guys are excited about going out there today. Norris threw the ball tremendously well. We're looking forward to having a great spring. Our guys were running around, a lot of energy. We were pepped up, excited. We're looking to take this thing to the next level, getting ourselves ready for when we can actually put pads on. Any questions?
I'm trying to think of a good one just real quick to throw you off. I'm just trying to think of a good one. What's the status of Rocket Sanders?
He's working on it. He's got a leg. He's been working on getting better all winter, and we're looking forward to seeing Rocket.
We're going to do this, and I'm going to be ready next time with questions. I'm going to be ready. Tomorrow, they'll have spring practice, and Dow Loggins and Dow Loggins and Clayton White will talk, and we'll be ready. I'll be more prepared for that. We don't have enough time for me to go down a path. I do feel like this is chapter 2 of the Shane Beamer era. I wish I'd have thought of this a little bit more. We might get into this a little bit more because this can be kind of a little evergreen over the next 4 weeks. But I feel like today starts chapter 2. The first 3 years, chapter 1, the rise of Shane Beamer, going 7-6, going 8-5, and then a little bit of the fall. This is the next step. You're now in your 4th year as being a head football coach at the University of South Carolina. Essentially, all the players, it's always, COVID is messing up what I'm about to say a tad, but essentially, this is your recruited team. This is your roster, having kind of filtered out the rest of not everybody. Juju McDowell is still there and several other players, but you have now filtered out the majority of the Will Muschamp players. These are the guys you've recruited. This is now fully your program. We now know you. 3 years in, we know Shane, but this is his program. I feel like it's the start of chapter 2.
Yeah, more so than the players. This is your culture. You have created this culture. We can't be talking about anything in the past. This is who you are, and this is who you will be moving forward.
We'll save that and come back to that. That's kind of a topic we'll get back into. NCAA tournament, I guess, starts tonight. Wagner and Howard. Who are you taking?
Give me the Bison. Give me the Bison.
Which one is that?
Howard.
Sounds good. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Spring cleaning, just another great thing to tie up your weekend. You don't want to do that. You want to get out. You want to enjoy life. The weather's changing. You want to be able to enjoy it. But with spring cleaning, oh, man, that can just tie up your time. But you know what? Zerorez, carpet and air duct cleaning, well, they're ready to help you. They'll make the carpets, the tile, the upholstery. They'll all make it look insanely clean with their patented ZR water technology that cleans better than detergents and does not leave behind a sticky, soapy residue. Find out for yourself. Call Zerorez today and book an appointment. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $129 plus a free hallway. Again, that's 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $129 plus a free hallway. Just mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game. You can give him a phone call, 803-262-4020, or you can schedule online. ZerorezColumbia.com is the way to do that. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The tournament is here. BetOnline is your bracket headquarters for this season with the best bracket contest out there and odds, lines, and info on every game and every round right up until the national championship. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worrying. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
This is Monster Jam. Witness big air, two-wheel skills, backflips, and all-out racing. It's the only place to see the world's best riders tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks like Gravedigger, El Toro Loco, Megalodon, and more. It's big-time fun for the whole family. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Colonial Life Arena April 6th and 7th. Brought to you by BKT Tires, Great Clips, and Texas Roadhouse. Visit monsterjam.com today.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer.
At 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic
is sponsored by Wetzel's Automotive in West Columbia. Wetzel'sAuto.com.
Let's take one last look at your traffic for your ride in this morning. Very stop and go on I-26 eastbound. You do have an overturned tractor trailer right there in the area of Fontaine Road and Highway 1. And trust me, I got stuck in it on the way in this morning. It is not fun, so seek alternate routes because it might take some extra time to get in. That is right in the area of exit number 97. Weather looking pretty decent today. Going to have a high of 62. Low tonight, going to get down 39. Still pretty chilly outside, so I'd recommend a jacket if you still have not made it out the door just yet. And pollen count still very, very high. Take those allergy meds before you leave as well. That's your traffic here on the WIS-TV Traffic Center on the early game here on 107.5 The Game.
WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Tony Annan, head men's soccer coach at the University of South Carolina. You're listening to 107.5 The Game, home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station. The extra point.
With Tyler Head and Gamecock Central on your home of the Gamecocks. In Columbia, 107.5 The Game.